Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn place. This is all your fault. You and I like me. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I have a question for all of you, everybody out there listening, everybody in this room, anybody out there who wants to answer this question. Let me put it in your lap. Folks, do you think I'm a dirty faggot? There's a reason I ask that question. If any of you folks out there said, no, why, of course we don't think you're a dirty faggot, then good for you. Because that's great. That means you're on board with me. That means you know what I do. That means you're a fan or maybe even a normal human being who would understand who I was and know that I was certainly not dirty and not a bundle of kindling. You would know that about me. However, if you said yes to that question, then you are the filthy homeless person who I refuse to give money to outside of Lily's house. And I don't know if you've gone ahead and bought some tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds to listen to me and call me a dirty faggot in perpetuity. But that's what just happened. I parked outside of Lily's house, and I come to walk upstairs, and there is a grimy fucking homeless dude. I mean, he walks up, and I'm like, I told you folks, I've had experiences with the homeless before. We all have, but I seem to have more than the normal person. And I try to be nice because I feel that those people deserve respect. And they need eye contact when I tell them that I'm not helping them. That's what they need. They absolutely need me. I need to be in the moment when I'm telling them that I don't have anything to do with them. That's what I need to do. I need to make sure that they know that I'm present for my insulting dismissal of them. So, and that's not the case at all. I feel so horrible and terrible, and I wish I could help, but I can't. Because, folks, I'm broke. What the fuck am I going to do? And it's not like I'd pass out cigarettes. They like cigarettes, right? Those people like? I don't know. Pictures like at a zoo and fucking you're throwing things into a cage. Hey, here's a peanut for you, monkey. Oh, it's a homeless guy. Boom. Marlboro right off your chest. Sure enough, this guy waddles out of the hedges and comes up to me. And look, all right. He had the standard homeless guy uniform. He had the one glove. Very Michael Jackson. He had one glove with the fingerless. Yeah, it looked like you just come off a tramp steamer. Like, what are you wearing? Where did you find fingerless gloves? Are you in Motley Crue? Where did you find one fingerless glove? Holy shit. Nikki Sixx, take a shower, clean it up, and grab the bass and write a song. What the fuck? So he wanders out. He's got no shirt on, of course. And then he didn't have a rope belt, but like one of those weird I don't know how to, like a cloth belt. You know what I mean? With like multi-stripes. Like almost like Works rainbow suspenders like Robin Williams is, you know what I mean? But it was like a belt instead. Maybe it was Robin Williams being a character. Maybe he was doing Fisher King 2 and he was trying to learn about it. I have no fucking clue. All I know is that, and he's got that, the bad beard and like the weird Bluto beard. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like really thick black on mustache and beard. So it looks like he doesn't have a mouth. Like he looks like a chia face. You know what I mean? Just half a chia face. And just grimy, motherfucking grimy. He looked like a guy. You know what he does? He looks like, all right, I'll get to that in a second. But he comes out and he's all filthy, and he's got shoes on, and the pants are rolled up because that's what the kids do these days. I don't know if he thought he'd look that much cooler, and I'd give him oh, look at you, you're hip. Here you go, $10. But he morphed out of the hedges, saw me coming, and walked right up and just shambled up to me, and he's like. And he looked right at me. And what was weird is he was filthy. And this is probably why this looked like this. He had the whitest eyes I've ever seen in my life. Like, because the rest of him, because it looked like a talking piece of coal. I'm not going to lie to you. It was just this, he had climbed out of a coal chute from the 20s. Because this building is old, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the oldest building in Hollywood. He may have just clambered out of a coal chute. He may have been in there forever. Because I couldn't get a beat on his age. The guy's covered in silt. I mean, I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with him. But he's just got the one glove, no shirt, the fucking weird suspender belt, and pants with the pant legs rolled up, and the shoes, and filthy. And he comes walking up, and he opened his mouth, and he had the whitest eyes. Like Patrick Henry would have shot him. I mean, that's how fucking honestly. And would have shot him from across the street because these were like high beams, man. And I walk up and he opens his eyes and he makes solid eye contact with me, and I with him. I'm not going to break his gaze. You're not going to fucking back me down. I'm not your cur. I'm no dog. So he walks up and he with his hand out. He's got the he had the posture, and he had the not the gloved hand, but the right hand out, and he just goes, "You got money?" Which is look. I don't want to tell you how to run your business. But you might want to think of a better approach than, "You got money?" Because that also doesn't give me any incentive to share it with you. Quite frankly, that's not a question. It's a question, but not a declarative statement of "please give me some." Or maybe that's the follow-up. I have no idea. But I gave him my standard homeless guy answer, which is eye contact, chin jutted out like Superman, and he just goes, "You got money?" Holds his hand out, and he's kind of blocking the sidewalk. So if I don't want to bump into this guy because again he's covered in coal from the 20s, and I just looked at him and I go, "Can't help you today, sir. Thanks very much." And I went to go by him, and he actually did that thing where you step in front of somebody, and I looked at him and like, because in my head I go, now it's a thing. You know what I mean? Now it's a thing. It's like I normally, because I try to be nice, I make eye contact, I say I can't help you, and we're fine. And then I can go in the building, and you can go ahead and scare children or whatever it is you do with yourself. You can go ahead and open your pores even further, and you know what? If you sweat and concentrate, maybe a diamond will come out of your head. I don't know how the coal works. Isn't that how it works? You squeeze it, and it is scrunch your eyes with the coal dust, and maybe you'll cry diamonds. So he actually kind of does that little zigzag dance and gets in front of me. And I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, really? In my head, I said, really? I didn't say it to him because, again, I'm trying not to disrespect this guy, this specter of filth. And he gets in front of me and he just goes, "I said you got money." So now I think maybe he just genuinely wants to know if I have money. He's a guy who's actually concerned about my well-being, and maybe he's going to offer me some. Maybe, I don't know how it works. Actually, I do know how it works, and this is not the way it works. I know the way it usually works with a homeless dude. He's like, "Hey, can I have some change?" I say, "No, but I can't help you today, sir." And then he goes, "Thank you. God bless." Because they always throw that in there. Because the Lord, I almost want to say, you know what? You're right. He will. Because the Lord is obviously not paying any attention to you, friend. He is taking care of guys like me who go ahead and walk right past the poor. So he says, "I said you got money." And I didn't even stop. I like kind of, when he jumped in front of me, I kind of stopped, but then I immediately did like a left hand move to go around him because he had hemmed me in against the hedges. But if I go left, there's the street and the curb. So I went left because, I mean, he's not going to, look, this guy hasn't eaten in 5 days. He's not going to be able to tackle me or hem me in. I got moves, friends. I go fucking OJ at the airport on him. I zigzag and I go around him and I go, "I said I can't help you. Sorry." And I come around and I put one foot on the step and he goes, "You dirty faggot." And I was hurt, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I was very, very disappointed and shocked, quite frankly, to be called dirty by a human shadow. I like, what the I'm dirty? You look like you sleep at the bottom of a porta potty so people will shit on you for warmth. But I'm dirty. Fantastic. Thank you. I was nice. I was genuinely nice. I thought I was nice. I mean, I guess not nice enough. I didn't come across with any fucking simoleons for the guy, but Jesus Christ, I tried to be a human being to him. And it's funny now. People always tell you when you see the homeless people, you're like, "Oh man, they're human too," and you don't look at them like on the street like they're just a lamppost. I try to do that. I try to treat them like humans. And that guy dehumanized me with dirty faggot. He just dropped that right on me. So I put it to you folks, am I a dirty faggot? I don't think I am, quite frankly. What's that? You want some money? Can't help you today. Hi, how are you? That's what just happened. And again, you know me, I'm a guy who has no opening line. I have no opening thing that I ever want to talk about. And so it's always good when something shitty happens to me on the way in. That lets me kill some time. You know what? I got to be happy that this guy called me a dirty faggot. I should pay him to fuck with me every week. So then I have something to bring to you folks right in the beginning of the goddamn show. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Would it? I don't think it would. Let me proclaim this right now. Let me proclaim this loudly for all to hear, and he may hear me even through this open window as I sit here in my friend Lily Von Strupp's house. She produces this show. You're aware of that, yes? You all know that. You may hear her in the background occasionally. She's here enjoying the show, and thank God. If nobody was here enjoying the show would be much different. Just be me fucking complaining about being called a dirty faggot. Good night. That would be it. The music would play. We're finished. the fuck was I going to say? I got in a tangent there, and I had something. I said I was going, oh, here's what I proclaim. No, I don't even remember. Was I going to proclaim something? I had a proclamation. And how could I have forgotten my proclamation already? God damn it. Oh, here's what I proclaim. I remember now. Although I will tell you this, all of that bullshit that just happened is not going to help with this proclamation, folks. Because this proclamation was, this show is not going to be 2 hours long. That was the proclamation I was going to make. And I got a thing spending 5 minutes going back and forth about whether or not this show is going to be fucking 2 hours. Yes, I see what you're doing. Well, no. Hey, talking about being called a dirty faggot that's content. That's part of the goddamn show. That's people are paying for that sort of thing, but they're not paying to hear me speculate about what my proclamation was and why I forgot it. Nobody wants to hear that. People tune in to hear comedy. They don't want to hear an old man forgetting his grocery list. Nobody wants to know what that was. Did I get green beans? I don't recall. How could you not recall? It's the first thing you get when you walk into the store. You go left into the produce section and boom, you buy the green beans. Then you have the awkward conversation with the guy at Ralph's from the produce section who knows your name. That's disappointing. There's a guy at my Ralph's who knows me. He doesn't know me to know me like from this show. He just knows me from buying produce. And once I started to buy a ton of produce, when I started to buy a bunch of fruit and all that, he was very nice. And he came over to talk to me and Karen one time. And look, I love my wife. All right. But when people come over and they work in an establishment, don't introduce yourself like, "Hi, I'm Karen. Who are you, plum guy?" I mean, like, I don't need to know his name. He's got a name tag. It says Johnny. "Hi, Johnny. You're a good guy. I like you. That's fine." But now, like, Johnny knows about what car I drive and what car Karen drives and going to because he likes Nissans. So Karen's like, he's like, "Oh yeah, I just drove into work. I was late." He starts talking about his life, and then Karen gets invested. So they're having a discussion over the fucking Brussels sprouts, and I just disappear. I'd fade into the background. You know what I did? I covered myself in coal dust and faded into the hedges. I actually dove into the green beans and hid. Thank God my eyes are white. My wife would have never found me. But she talks to Johnny at the fucking Ralph's, and it's like, "Hey, good for you, Johnny. You're nice." But now every time I see him, and again, he's a nice man. I don't want to shit on this guy. He's very cool, and I try to be friendly and nice. If someone has a name tag, I always engage them with their name, and I never know if that's right or wrong. Because I've been very lucky. I haven't had a name tag job in years. All right. The last name tag job I had was might have been the Warehouse Record Store a billion years ago. I don't even know if they exist anymore. They might be out. Let's put it this way: there's no more records. There's certainly no more Warehouse Record Store. It's all over. That whole thing fell apart. But when I worked there, I had a name tag. That's not the record store I busted out. That was another record store that I don't think I'd ever named. I never named the corporation because I don't know if they're still around and looking to sue me. But folks, that's a story I told in year one of this podcast. Go ahead and pick it up. God knows you want to catch up with old stories that I allude to now. What if I did that all show? I just alluded to shit that had happened in the past. Aha! We'll call this the teaser show. We'll trick you guys into buying the old stuff and actually listening to some content instead of me getting eye fucked by a goddamn homeless dude. All right. So, why did I get into Johnny? I don't know. Johnny the guy at Ralph's. So I have to talk to him every time I go in there. To the point where I've started going in the other entrance by the deli to avoid him. And I feel bad. I feel terrible because I need pineapple. I need pineapple and grapes, but I don't want to talk to Johnny. So now I got to, I got to pay some kid $5 to go fetch me pineapple and grapes so I don't have to have a fucking awkward conversation with Johnny the Asian. Jesus Christ. Should I call him Asian Johnny or Johnny the Asian? Or what about just Johnny? How about that? Why the fuck do I have to bring his race into this? I don't have to do something like that. It's just Johnny. He's a nice guy in the produce section being friendly. He likes Nissans. Of course he does. He's Johnny the Asian. All right. See? That's why I got to bring it in. I got to explain his taste in cars. Although I like Nissans. Am I Mike the Asian? No. But I love sushi and I love Nissan. I guess I could be half that way. I'm a Kablan. No, not Kablan Asian. I'm a Caucasian. Stupid. I don't know. I can't figure it out. All right, folks. Here's what happened to me. I'll tell you this story. In Graveyardville, there are people there in Graveyardville who live there, obviously, and there are people I like and people I don't like. Hard for you folks to believe, I'm sure. But I mean, there are some people that are friendly and I want to be nice to them, and then there's some people that I'm just like, I have a puss on my face because every time I have to engage with them, they piss me off. It's like, there's this one guy who comes in and he just looks so fucking sad all the time. and I'll try to talk to him. But I just got to say hi because I can't just let someone walk by. I feel like such a dick because I'm there, and people ignore me, and they don't have any fucking qualms about it. But I feel like an asshole who doesn't if I don't talk to someone. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but this guy is so sad. He's always almost shoulders slumped. He looks like, you know what he looks like? He looks like a human Adele song. I mean, it's just like he's so fucking woeful when he's walking to and from his house. And by the way, I don't want to cast any aspersions on Adele. Adele is fucking amazing. Karen bought both of those albums, which actually kind of worried me. She's like, "Oh my God, I want to hear those Adele albums." I'm like, "Are you gonna kill yourself? I mean, do I have to worry about coming home and you've opened a vein in a bathtub as Adele moans in the background?" Because Adele, I like Adele, but that is one mopey chick. Holy God. And the songs are amazing. Her voice is amazing, but someone broke up with her when she was 12 and she got a pen and went to town. And will not fucking stop. Holy shit. And it's like she's never going to get out of that spiral because no guy's ever going to go out with her now because it's just like, oh, I'm going to wind up in a song about you hating me. And now it's like, it's so funny. Adele breaks, you know, and there was a chick before, like there was that Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse was like a big deal. And she was kind of like a throwback to like cha-cha jazz, but also a great voice. And then she climbed into a fucking syringe. And then that other blonde chick came out of England who's just like her. I forget what her name is. Duffy. That's it. Yeah. So she's basically Amy Winehouse without the drug problem, which is not nearly as interesting, quite frankly. I like to know that behind my songs, there's so many. I like to hear the plunger actually being shoved into your vein. All right, that makes that kind of music palatable for me. To know that person's on their way to an untimely end, boom! I will buy that album and enjoy the fuck out of it. I don't want to know that you're going to be alive to your 60 making that kind of music. Fuck that. And that's the same with Adele. It's like Adele. I love the music. I love the songs. I think they're fantastic. But I will admit, one ingredient in there that makes it tolerable is knowing that she's going to eat a bottle of pills at some point and disappear. So I can go, I knew her before she decided to check out, and she just sang about it. I knew her before she was consumed by all of these problems and decided to fucking take the easy way out. But that's the thing is Adele breaks, and she's like, and she's amazing. Those albums are amazing. I love them. But then, of course, the inevitable other chicks come out. I heard on my satellite radio someone named Birdie. And look, I'm judging Birdie on one song. All right, the rest of her stuff could be all fucking finger snapping commercial jingles. I got no fucking idea. But on this song that she sang called Skinny Love, I think it was, and it was about some guy and how she was fucked over and everything's terrible and she loved him but she didn't, and that was the vibe I got of it. I don't know. All I know is it sounded like when you hear a song like that, I expect to see 6 guys carrying a coffin down the street. It's that kind of fucking music. And just like not a dirge, I guess, but it was just very sad and morose. And it was just this very an audible music cloud, a dark cloud. And you hear, it's funny. I say Adele was amazing, and then there's all these impersonators that come after Adele. But dude, how fucking pissed is Fiona Apple? It's because she was maybe not the original mopey chick, but I mean, she certainly was a goddamn mopey chick. That fucking video for Criminal. Looked like, Harmony Korine shot it. I was half expecting, I'm like, wait a minute, is this underage porn? What the fuck am I watching here? And then her version of Across the Universe, which is an amazing song. It's a great song, and her version is great. But Jesus, fuck, it might as well have come with pills actually in the CD. Like, remember seeing in the movie MASH where John Shuck's going to kill himself and the guy singing Suicide is Painless as they all prep him for, checking out. He's going to kill himself. That's what I picture with Fiona Apple. It should just have that diagram of the Heimlich maneuver? It should just have a diagram of how to kill yourself while you're listening to that goddamn song. Not that I'd need a diagram, because about a minute into that fucking song, you're like, oh my God, what is this, Shadow Boxer? Holy, I need a sword. Because I don't want to just die. I want to die in the messiest way possible after listening to fucking Shadow Boxer. Holy shit. And now Fiona Apple she's been eclipsed by Adele. Adele's more sad. It's like Nigel Tufnell would go, there is none more sad. No, there is one more sad. And her name is Adele. So take that, Fiona Apple. Smell the fucking glove. Fiona Apple's got to be so bummed because she was the original mopey chick and now she's been usurped. You know what it is? She got happy. Like she found someone who made her happy and her whole career ended. No, you got to stay sad. You can't go out and find somebody and have a healthy relationship. Fuck that. Stay sad. I picture Fiona Apple at her house now just reading books on the Holocaust. You know what I mean? Just going, fuck, I got to catch up. Give me more Nazi atrocities. I need to cut an album. Holy shit. That's an album I buy. Oh, man. Fiona Apple influenced by Nazi atrocities? That's just that's got to be just... That would be like the soundtrack to Eraserhead with someone singing over it. Holy shit. All right. right, folks. Yeah, she's disappointed. I'm sure she's home right now. She's like, God, why am I not that sad? Somebody, please. Go on the internet. You'll be sad in fucking 15 minutes. All right. Or call me. I'll tell you about my week. That's a lie. I had a great week, folks. Jesus, I had the best. Seriously, I had the most amazing week I've had in, I'm going to say months, maybe years. And hold on. Come closer. Put to your earbuds. Put your tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds in and listen to me. I'm lying. Some good things happened this week. Some things that weren't so good happened this week. I can't go into it because you know what? People are tired of hearing me be a sad sack on my own fucking show. Nobody wants to hear me going, yeah. I mean, look, if you want to, my show, literally sometimes it turns into the equivalent of like a little boy kicking a can down the street. You know what I mean? It's the verbal equivalent of a little kid with his hands jammed in his pockets. He goes, stupid, I don't even want to play with them anyway. And he's kicking a fucking can. All bottom. Literally, the logo for this show should just be a bottom lip poking out. Holy shit. Oh, I don't mean for it to be that way. But no, things are great. What was I talking about? There was something I was talking about and I got detached by fucking Adele. I took the road to sadness with Adele and fucking things changed quickly. Damn, all right, well, I'll figure it out. Think of it. You think of it. You're here. That's why you're here. You're supposed to keep track. You're supposed to keep the train on the tracks. That's impossible. It's never going to happen. I will tell you this. Let's talk about this really quick. Part of my bad week was, I guess I need to apologize to you, Lily Von Stupp, because I was besieged by emails. Not besieged. That seems like a strong word. Savaged? No. Beleaguered by email? No, that's also not a word I would use. I got a few emails. Sure. Let's do that. Let's boil it down. Telling me to stop being mean to you.
Aww, that's so cute.
I was going to forward them to you, and then I went, nah, I'll just talk about it. And I wrote them all very nicely, and I said, look, Lily and I have been friends for 10 years. Because, folks, if you're just tuning in, and why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you jump on at this point? Why wouldn't you be like, what? This guy's 4 years into talking by himself? He can't possibly have anything left. Let's listen to it. Fiona Apple and the Holocaust, done. I'm in for this. I'm in for the long run. Definitely the long haul with this guy. So I guess the last couple weeks, I've come off a little angry at you. And that's why I withdrew this week. I'm like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to be that guy. I'll talk about things that are, that everyone enjoys, like the Holocaust. Stupid. So I told him I said, look, we talk off the air too. You know what I mean? It's not like I show, this is it. This is our only communication. I said, so I go, Lily's a big girl and she can defend herself and often has. I said, so you guys it's nice that they are concerned. And then people are very nice and they write me back and they say, okay, well, that makes sense. And I didn't mean it like that. I just, I just want to make sure that, and then they're very nice. They go, we just don't want the show to end. Which makes me laugh that they think the show at any moment is in danger of absolutely splintering and ending because they know my history. They know that at the drop of a hat, I can be fucking replaced. I can just be gacked. Everything can fall apart. Everything is tenuous. That's it. I'm like a coffee mug that's been glued together like 3 or 4 different times. Everything, springing leaks and eventually it's just all going to fucking come apart. What are you going to say? You were going to say something.
I'm just trying to think, if the show ended all of a sudden, would I just bring somebody in to replace?
Of course you would. Yes, you would. Yeah, there'd be like a new guy here just doing the show and talking, and people would just listen and would be like, yeah, that's perfect. Then you'd get Priscilla Barnes to come in and replace me, and I'd be like Suzanne Summers at home just pissed off. I'd be like, oh, really? God damn it.
I don't know anybody who can talk as much as you.
No, it doesn't matter. You bring in 2 guys. They don't care. You got to bring in whoever you got to bring in to replace me. It's like when Travolta left Welcome Back, Kotter. They were like, well, we could shut this whole thing down. Fuck that. Stephen Shortridge, get him. And he came in and bowed the shit out of that show. Fantastic. By the way, young people, these are all shows from when I was a kid that you don't know about. I'm 43 and old and making references you have no idea about. Because I can't say Cheers because when Shelley Long left, they brought in Kirstie Alley, and the show was better. Like, I mean, if I say that, the wheels start turning in your head, and you're like, fuck yeah, I guess I could whack him and bring in somebody else and make it better, couldn't I? Well, you shake your head no, but your eyes say yes, yes, yes. Your big white homeless guy eyes. The hell was I talking about? I was talking about something else. Damn it. There was something. All right. I'm sure I'll hear from somebody. They'll write me, dude. You know what? I did this week. I went and did the Adam Carolla podcast. That was fantastic. It was a big deal for me because again, it's the number one podcast in the world. When I did Mark Maron's show, you guys all know, and you guys got me on my Mark Maron's show, which was great. Thank you. But to do Adam's show was there was a guy named Giovanni who works within the confines of Adam Carolla Ace Broadcasting, and he discovered our show. I guess I said that he found me through Marin, but that's incorrect. I guess he actually listened to Never Not Funny. Gio's been on board for quite a while, and when he found out I had my own show, he then bought year one and year two and has been listening ever since, and he's a fan and really nice and very supportive. So he went to bat for me over there at Carolla, and that was actually, I'll tell you this, folks, that was in the works for like 5 months. I don't know if I mentioned that last week when I talked about it, but that was in the works for quite a while. They contacted me a while ago and asked for, my avails and when I could do it. And Gio's been really cool and kind of, nudging them in toward having me on. And so I actually finally got a date and I got to do it. And I went in Monday and I went into the Ace Broadcasting compound. And that's not a joke. He has a building that he does the show out of. And I walked in. Look, all right, let me paint a picture for you folks here. I am in a stripper's kitchen, okay? This is where I do the show. My friend Lily Von Stubb is a burlesque dancer, as some of you may know or may not know. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the show. But she is a burlesque dancer and a producer. And I come to her house and I sit in her kitchen, and it's me and her. And you may notice she does not have a microphone. You can hear her, but I refuse to give her a microphone because that would mean that I would have time to breathe. And I think the show is much better if I don't have time to breathe. I think the show works that much better if I just fucking go rolling right fucking downhill. And honestly, what is she going to interject in this? Shut up, stop talking. Even if she had a cogent point and started to voice it, I'd be like, hold on a second. I had a tangent I was going to go on. I need to freeze you right there. One man, one microphone. That's how this thing works. And that's actually what the show was going to be called. Before 40-Year-Old Boy, it was one of the names in the mix. It was one man, one microphone, or 40-Year-Old Boy. Or as I've mentioned, that I talked about what the other show was going to be. And this happened. So this happened. That was going to be the name. That was the other choice for the show name. So this happened. But cooler heads prevailed and went with 40-Year-Old Boy. Although one man, one microphone would have worked as well. Why do you folks care? Nobody cares. So I go in to do the Adam Carolla show, and they have a compound. Like I said, I'm in Lily's kitchen. It's me and Lily. But I walk into their building, and it's a beehive of activity. I don't know. There's got to be 10 people working there to do Adam's show. They're people who queue up stuff on the internet. There's Adam on the show, and then he's got Allison, the news person, and Bald Brian, and who does the sound effects and contributes to the show. And then outside in the lobby, there's producers and there's Donnie, who I think is just the overlord. Donnie's like the Robert Duvall from The Godfather of the show. He's the consigliere. He's just the capo of it, the whole deal. He's not a capo. He's a consigliere. I don't want to fuck it up. Max will kill me. Max is a mafia dude. I'm serious. He's fascinated by it. He's a huge. All right. I won't get into that. But but Max is a big fan of that kind of stuff. He's so he'll know everything, and he's gonna go, dude, you said the wrong thing, and I'm gonna be an idiot. And then the next thing you know, cement shoes. Mike Schmidt sleeps with the fishes. So I go there and I walk in and there's a million. I mean, like they're buzzing all over. Donnie and I met Matt, who was great, and Katie was there. And then there's all the Chris and these other guys in this dark room where they're in the engineers room. And I met Mike, the voiceover guy. I mean, they're crazy. I mean, it's one man, one microphone here. And there I walk in and their green room is in a garage. So I walk in, I go into the back where the garage is. There's like. And look, I'm not a car guy, and I know Adam is, and I was waiting for him to bring it up because I was just gonna go, dude, I'm a lady, all right? I don't know shit about cars. I barely know where to put the key in my fucking car. I don't know if you want to call Johnny at Ralph's. He'll tell you I like the Nissans. Maybe you have him on the show, and he'll tell you all about my car preference because motherfucker, that guy knows. Holy shit, I've been sucked into that conversation more than once. So maybe you talk to him about cars, but I mean, you can't talk to me because I don't know a fucking thing. I know fuck all about cars. So I go into the back into the green room where they have a big flat screen, and they had I think it was a Mustang. I don't know. It looked like a race car, and then there was another car, and they're all in various states of being repaired or fixed or improved, or I don't know. He's putting a good glass packs on it, or a 454, or Again, I'm just saying these are card terms I learned from songs. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what they mean. There's literally a song by Y&T, which is a fucking great song called All American Boy. And the opening line is he goes, I got a 57 Chevy with 4 on the floor, glass packs, cheater slicks, 454. And then he says, girls on the phone, girl at my door. I just keep coming back for more. He's a red-blooded, hot-loving, all-American boy. All right, never mind. Red-blooded, fun-loving. I mixed it up because Kiss has a song called All American Man. Yeah, I know, folks. I'm sure I could. You know why I had to correct myself? Because I know there's one Y&T guy out there who's gonna be like, "Fuck you, dude. Dave Meniketti would never say that. That's a stupid Kiss lyric." And then I'm fucked. Then I'm ruined. So I walk into the Corolla compound, man, and it is just a million dudes. And I will tell you, like, I walk in here, and it's Lily's house. It's where she lives, and she's a kind host. But I walk in, and they immediately come up, and they're very nice to me, and they're like, "Hey, Mike, would you like, you need something to drink? You need anything?" And I'll tell you, there's a fan there named Patrick hanging around. They just brought in a fan who gets to come in and check out the taping and stuff, and which is awesome. I mean, I don't know if that would work for my show. If I reached out to some fan, hey, you want to come and watch me talk? Because at least Adam has like real guests. He had Larry Miller in the room, you know what I mean? Larry Miller's famous. He's been in TV shows. He's a fucking brilliant comedian. So Patrick's at least getting his money worth. He gets to meet famous Adam and famous Larry. And then who's this guy Mike? You know what I mean? And famous Allison and famous Bald Brian. He gets to meet all of those famous people, as well as meeting another 15 other people who are apparently on Adam's payroll. I don't know what, dude, he must be loaded. He must be making because I do my show and I can barely pay Lily. Barely. So and you guys make that happen. Thank you, and you're kind to do it. But holy God, the system that I run, I had 10 people. That would be awful. They just all be wearing rags like an Oliver. Please, sir, holding out an empty bowl. You know, actually, if I had 10 employees, they would shuffle out of the hedges with no shirt on and go, got some money? That's what my staff would do. They would walk out covered in a thin layer of fucking aquarium rocks. Got money? That sounds like Letterman's Got Any Gun guy, but that's what the dude sounded like. He had a big sagebrush beard. Awful. Oh, God. I want to Pygmalion one of those guys just one time. If they didn't have mental problems, I would just, if I could like have a little interview with a homeless dude for 5 minutes to find out if he was kind of square and on board, take him home and give him a bath and fucking get him cleaned up. And, well, I don't want to give him a bath. That doesn't, hold on a second. That sounded bad. Yeah. I'm going to give a sponge bath to a homeless guy. I'm weird. All right. You got any money? No, but you want to come home and have a bath? Why, certainly I do. Let me scrub some of that coal dust off you, friend. You look dirty. Awful. Guys, you're going to be, no, I just want $5. I don't need a sponge bath from fat guy I met on the street. But if you're homeless, aren't you up for anything? Aren't you just up for anything? If you wander out of the hedges, seriously, I've often thought that, and I hate to be that guy. I'll say this, it's true. You'll see like a homeless lady, and she'll have a sign, and in your brain, you're like, what if I told her to suck my cock? Like, well, I mean, I'm serious. Look, I don't think I'm crazy. I would never do it. I'm a married man. Even if I wasn't married, I wouldn't do it. But at the same time, doesn't that thought flash through your fucking mind? They want money. Wouldn't they want to earn the money? What if I said, hey, hop in. We'll go home and have a sandwich and get you a shower and you blow me and then I'll give you a few bucks. Why would that be a problem for a homeless person? They're standing in an overpass inhaling fumes and getting cancer by the second, holding a cardboard sign with misspelled requests on it. I don't know why that would be that bad, because then at least also gives them some human interaction. Oh my God! I don't think you make it like human slavery. You don't fucking take them against their will, but you throw it out there. You give them the option. Hey, you want to ride to my house and I'll give you a bath, and then maybe you suck my cock and I'll give you some money. And who says no to that? I don't know. All right, maybe I'm alone on this. Apparently, Lily thinks it's crazy. Why don't you write me and tell me what you think? All right. I just think every man has had that idea flash through their head. If you saw like some woman on the street corner and she's begging and wanting money, in your brain, what are the limits? What are the limits? And I told you, I have a sore spot for homeless people, and I had a thing with a homeless lady before, and I actually, I wanted to save her. Like, I brought her to 7-Eleven, bought her a bunch of food, and I tried to help her out. And then got in a fight with the fucking cashier because he couldn't believe I did it. But I talked about that on here, right? I told that story. Yeah. So because I can't even imagine being a homeless lady and all the things you got to do, and because they have stuff to do. I can't just, there's internal stuff going on with ladies. All right, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna get into it. The hell was I talking about? So I'm in Adams. Oh, I'm in Adams compound. Okay. But yeah, if I had a staff of 10 and they just got any money, so he's got this huge staff, and they're all very nice, and they offer me immediately, like, you want anything to drink? And I said no, and they go, you want some pie? And I was like, oh my God, how fancy is this place? They've got pie, available pie. A drink, a beverage. I've gone a million places, been offered a beverage. Not a lot of people will pony up a pie. That's fucking amazing. Hey, you want some pie? And I was so shocked. I'm just like, because I also don't like to eat before I perform or talk. So I no, that's all right. Thank you so much. And they go, really? We got a couple of pies if you want. No, I'm fine. And then I sit down, and I got there early. Show starts at 8. So they told me to get there around 8 or 8:15, which I thought was late. I'm like, well, isn't the show started by then? And also, I like to have the vibe of what's happening, so I want to see what's going on. And it's not like I could ride there and listen to it in my car. I have to be there to kind of see what's happening. So I wasn't aware that he had a first guest, but when I got there, Larry Miller was there, and Larry Miller immediately starts eating pie. I'm like, well, and I actually Twittered it out. I go, I'm actually watching Larry Miller eat pie. I am officially in show business. But he was real friendly and nice, and everybody there was great. And I get there about 7:35 for an 8 o'clock show, and time's ticking, and everybody's walking around, and they're eating pie, and they're hanging out. And about 5 to 8, maybe about 7 minutes to 8, they go, he's here. And which reminded me of when I was a kid, and when we would be fucking around in our house, and then my mom would come home and go, Mom's home, and you'd immediately pretend like you were doing your chores. So I don't know if that meant ditch the pie. I don't know what he's here meant. They go, he's here. And I see Adam pull in, and he parks right by the door, and he walks in, and everybody, he's very nice to everybody, real friendly. He's talking to everyone, and just kind of he didn't say hi to me. I think maybe he doesn't talk to guests before he goes on. That was the vibe I got, because he just walked right in, and also he doesn't know me. I mean, he probably just. But then again, there's 30 people in this fucking building. I mean, how the fuck? He's probably just like, oh look, there's another face I don't know. You know what I mean? And he's the star of the show. So I walk in, I'm waiting, and he comes in, and I'm still sitting in my seat. But everybody else comes over, and he's saying hello, hi, and he puts down a bunch of stuff that he had to sign. He had some stuff, and he goes with Donnie. He goes to powwow with Donnie. And then he immediately walks back in. He goes in the studio and puts on his headphones. And the show's ready to start at 8. He's been there 7 minutes. I have no fucking idea how he can do that. Because I come here, folks, and I see Lily, and I decompress, and we talk for 45 minutes, and we talk about her week and my week, and stuff that I'm not going to talk about on the air. I talk about with her, and we biff around it, because sometimes I don't see her for a week, so we'll catch up. I'll hear about what happened at the Monday Night Teas and things like that. But I just find that easier than sitting down and putting headphones on and just talking. Maybe because I'm alone. Maybe it's because I'm alone. If I had a guest, I could probably just sit down and power right into a conversation. But to be alone, I kind of have to be ready to do this. I know it sounds dumb. All right, so, but he went right in there. He and Larry Miller and Allison Rosen and Bald Brian are in the room, and I went in the green room and looked at cars that I will never be able to afford in my entire life. And I was out there with Patrick, the fan, Patrick, and we watched the show, and they started, and it was funny. They did the first 40 minutes of the show, I think 45 minutes with Larry Miller. And I was in the green room desperately wanting to be on the air because that's who I am. I want to talk, okay? And they're talking, and they're doing these made up movies, and Adam's talking about, he was talking about going to the Good Neighbor restaurant, which is a restaurant I always have breakfast at. And so I'm like, oh, if I was there, we'd have a great talk about the Good Neighbor restaurant. And I would talk about how I love their hash. Oh my God, the best. Dude, I love their corned beef hash. All right. Cause I don't eat lunch I eat breakfast. Even when I go there for lunch, I eat their breakfast. I have hash. And I gotta be honest, I'm gonna eat corned beef hash anywhere. I don't give a fuck. When I die, I want an open casket, not just at the wake. I want to be put in the ground in an open casket and bury me in corned beef hash. Because then I will just eat my way out. The zombie Mike Schmidt will eat his way out of the grave through all of the corned beef hash, and then I'll be full, and you won't need to worry about me eating your brain. I will not have any hunger for brains, because my zombie stomach will be filled with a grave full of corned beef hash. I will have eaten the equivalent of a grave full of corned beef hash by the time I reach the surface. I'm not a zombie you need to shoot. All I'm going to want at that point is some toast. I don't fuck brains. I just ate a grave full of corned beef hash. Give me some fucking toast. God damn it, that's a lot of salt for a zombie. All right. So he's talking about the restaurant, then they're talking about movies, and I'm actually playing along in the green room to the point where then Katie and Patrick the fan are getting tired of me, quite frankly. Because I'm actually talking out loud, like I'm speaking to the fucking computer or the flat screen with the computer hooked up, and then I'm like, dude, scale it down here. What are you doing? So and then they start doing the made up movies, and then there was a movie title called what it is. They give a movie title, and all three of them they take a run at making up what the movie could be about. And there was a movie called Johnny Be Bad. And Bald Brian goes, you know what that movie sounds like to me? And he starts going on and he goes, that sounds like a hotshot high school guy. And he's getting recruited by colleges. It's like a seedy story, but a comedy behind the scenes of high school recruiting. And I'm in the green room and I go, that's already a movie. It's called Johnny Be Good. And Katie and Patrick are sitting there and they're like, what? Like now you got to pay attention to me because now I'm talking again. And Katie looks up, she goes, what? I go, that's an actual movie. I go, he's making a movie called Johnny Be Bad about high school recruiting and stuff. I go, it's a movie with Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr. and it's Uma Thurman's first movie ever. It's horrible. It's so bad because Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr., they basically just told them to improvise and be funny and do whatever the fuck they wanted. And it's terrible because they're so bad. And I go, that's an actual movie. And he's making Johnny Be Bad, but it's really called Johnny Be Good. He's got to know this, right? I mean, is he doing a bit? And I guess maybe he probably had it in his brain, but he processed it differently. And I wanted to run in. I wanted to burst in and go, hold on a second. And then in my head, I'm formulating and I'm thinking about it. And then I go, you know what? I think Larry Miller was actually in that movie. And I'm like, is this a bit they're running on Miller because he's on the couch? They're trying to quiz him to see if he was in that actual fucking movie, and he's not going to remember. And then Katie goes to IMDb to look up Johnny Be Good, and then I go, you know what? I go, no. I go, Larry Miller's in Unnecessary Roughness. He plays he's the uptight dean in that. I thought he was the uptight dean in Johnny Be Good, but it's another football movie he's in. Unnecessary Roughness. He's the uptight dean in that. And at this point, I got to think Katie is just like, dude, shut the fuck up with your movie trivia knowledge. I'm going on and on about Johnny Be Good and Johnny Be Bad and Larry Miller and Unnecessary Roughness. I apparently proving I know everything in the world about every shitty football movie ever made. I should have brought up Wildcats with fucking Goldie Hawn and how Wesley Snipes was in it before he was Wesley Snipes. Terrible. I'm unleashing trivia on Patrick and Katie. Katie's trying to work. She won't even look up at this point. And look, I'm making it sound like I was a horrible pain in the ass. I wasn't. I was enjoyable. I was charming. And when I say I was playing along, it wasn't like constantly shouting out like you would at Wheel of Fortune on your TV. I was just, when I would laugh and I was interacting with the show, I wish I was in the room. All right, so Larry Miller's segment ends. They go to bring me in the room. And before they brought me in the room, they showed me the fact sheet of what they had about me. And you know, it had some things like, you know, never not funny and the 40-year-old boy, but it also had used to weigh 500 pounds. And I saw that on the sheet. And I look, I've done this long enough. I knew. He doesn't know me. Adam does not know me. He knows nothing about me. But if you didn't know somebody and someone handed you a sheet about that person and you saw that they used to weigh about 500 pounds, that's all you're going to talk about. And in my head, I go, I got to brace myself because this is all we're going to talk about. I knew it. And because that's fascinating. Because if you don't weigh that because it really is amazing to find out what they had to go through and all that kind of stuff. And also it's low hanging fruit. I mean, we can make fun of it all fucking night. That's fine. So, but I braced myself and I knew, and it's so funny. I wanted to go in and I was going to bust Bryant and balls on the Johnny Be Good. And there was another thing too. Larry Miller had been talking about Bud Abbott getting shanghaied, which is, if you haven't heard the show, The Corolla Show, go listen to it because it is a fascinating anecdote. I swear to God, he started telling that story, and I wish I was in the room because I was astonished by it to the point where I want to steal it now and just tell you, but I can't. Go listen to the show. But I had wanted to talk about that because I had a whole topic to talk about with it. I was going to take it in a completely different direction, the kind of direction you folks would think that I would take it in. That's all I'll say. If you hear it, then write me. I'll tell you what I was going to say. But I think you'll probably be able to guess. All right, so I go in the room and I go to talk with Adam. And when I walk in, Adam said hello. He was very nice. And guess what Adam's doing? Eating pie.
No.
And he's eating pie in the room, and Allison goes, "How's that pie?" And he goes, "Oh, good. Where did it come from?" And it turns out that Patrick, the fan, brought free pie for everybody.
And they ate it?
Yes, they ate it. He's a good fan. He's a nice guy. But they ate the free pie from him. But when I saw the fact sheet, and then when we started talking, and it was all about being fat, in the middle of it, in my brain, I just went, "Thank God I didn't eat any pie." Because then when I thought about it in a retro way, I would have walked, if I would have been a dick about it and made it about me, I would have walked in and they would, hey, do you want anything like a beer or some pie? Like, what, do you have for every fat guy pie? Every fat guy walks in the door, hey man, you want some pretty pie? Oh, what? I just thought they were just being nice, and I couldn't believe the accoutrement. Like, it was so amazing. But then as I put more thought into it, I'm like, oh, maybe they just wanted to give fat guy pie and trip him up. But then later on, when we started talking about my weight and Adam's eating pie, in my head, I'm like, thank God I did not eat the free pie. That would have been atrocious, because then literally that's all they could bury me with. Is there any pie left after Schmidt got at it? Ha ha, fuck. So I talked with Adam and I talked with Allison, and we everything seemed great. It was really fun, and Brian, and we had a really good time. When I finished, I took a picture with Adam, and then they had me record a drop to put up on the website to say, hey, you'll tune in tomorrow night, and everybody was really nice. They all came up to me, and they kind of had that same thing of like, wow, who are you? Which was really cool, which made me know I made an impression. And they talked about having me back and stuff, which was really neat. And it was important to me because it's important for me because I would like to do the show more and try to get people who like him to listen to the show and like me. But at the same time, I wanted to do good for Giovanni. Because this is a guy who for 5 months had been telling them about me and writing me and trying to get me on. And he did a lot of legwork. So to go in, if I had gone in and fucking stiffed, that would have been a drag. You know what I mean? And made him look fucking so terrible. I get no note from Giovanni after that. Nobody writes me. And the next thing you know, I just get like a free pie delivered to me, like as a kiss off. You know what I mean? Like a newspaper, a fish wrapped in newspaper. Nope, I get a pie wrapped in newspaper. Yeah, you'll never be on the Corolla show. You sleep with the pies.
Hi, I'm professional entertainer Paul Gilmartin, and you're listening to Mike Schmidt suppress his inner meathead on the 40-year-old boy. Do yourself a favor. If you see him coming down the street, turn and walk the other way. The man is a walking fist.
Welcome to the DMV. May I help you?
Shield your gaze, maggot! You are in the presence of Thorgod, Deathbringer from the inner circle of the 7th level of hell! I am Yeep, herald to the depraved one, and it is I who controls your fate! Follow my instructions completely, and perhaps my lord will choose to anally desecrate you only until he becomes bored with the savaging! Fail me, and rest assured that he will dedicate himself to the task until the very length of his rancid members spills forth from your pitiful mouth! He who brings pain demands that you procure a license, allowing Thorgod to operate any earthly vehicle. You will do this immediately, or face the unholy aftermath.
You need to stand in line for the test.
A test? A parasite such as yourself is not fit to test the mighty Thorgod, a beast who is dined on human flesh such as yours, with the Dark Lord himself. The only test to be administered lies waiting for you in the abyss.
Everyone takes the test.
No! Live out the rest of your cursed days knowing that hell goblins await your arrival in the pit, eager to test the limits of your spine, twisting and cracking endlessly until your screams produce only blood. We now leave your domain, but know that we will soon violate you in ours. Look away! Oh, Thorgar, yes, it is a nice day. Yes, the fresh air will do you good.
As I sit here in my tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds, they are nestled into my ears as I listen to myself talk. And oh my God, do I love listening to myself talk. You think you like me? Holy fuck, do I like me. All right. That was one of the reasons why last week, did I mention that? Last week I just talked and I kept talking and because I got hypnotized by the sound of my own voice. I sounded fucking great because I hadn't had headphones for weeks, and then finally I was able to hear myself a little better last week, and my throat was good. God damn, I sounded good last week. That was a good sounding voice. This will not be a 2-hour show. Yes, it will. No, it won't. As I sit here with my tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds in my ears, you're probably thinking to yourselves, well, fuck, where can I get those earbuds? That seems like... And if you are thinking that, as I say, tweakedaudio.com/40, I think maybe you should drive into a wall. Seriously. If you are wondering where to get tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds, then I can't help you, friend. I really can't. If you haven't put that puzzle together, there's 2 pieces to that puzzle. Link them and buy the headphones. Earbuds, whatever they are. I mean, you want these. You want tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds because not only, I did Adam Carolla's show the other day and I talked to him. He's getting a ton of money off of the tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds because I told you all of the podcasts get a cut. So I'm glad to see that you guys are doing what you can to go ahead and make sure that all of us wind up getting some cash that way. It's a nice way for you to support your favorite shows with an S. But if you were wondering where to get them and you're thinking, I can't just plug in tweakedaudio.com/40 on my computer, it doesn't go there. Get this, folks. And this is going to tie into another thing I wanted to tell you, folks. MikeSchmidtComedy.com has been updated and is live. I mentioned it last week that it was going to be updated and it was possibly going to be live. Well, now it's been live, but now it's really live. It's all the way live. It's coming at you live, like Tesla. I think it's Tesla. I have no idea. But yeah, so if you go right now to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, let me walk you through the new. Hold on, I had to move my foot there and kick the microphone. Because I have to, you know what? I have the microphone so close to me, like, because I have to be, I like wombs. I like being in a small space. I don't want to be free to move. I like it tight. I like it real tight in my mouth. And I like to be wedged in, man. That's what I enjoy. So I am as tight to this microphone as I possibly can be. And so then when I go to move my foot, I kick it and you hear it. All right. So, if you're wondering where to get tweaked, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. There's new artwork on, I always give you the pages. If you go to the Boy with the Horns page, there's like 9 new photos in the gallery, perhaps 12. I don't know off the top of my head. But there's rows of 3, so go check that out. It's pretty amazing. And I will tell you, that's the one thing right now that's still getting fixed, because when you enlarge the artwork, it's kind of cut off a little bit. But that's in the process of getting fixed, as far as I know, from Idaho Kirk. He's very busy taking care of that. As he waits for his brain tumor to subside, he goes ahead and devotes himself. Because I am a fucking slave driver, folks. I actually, that's what I did this weekend. I drove to Idaho. He didn't even know I was coming. I found his house because let's face it, there's only 3 there, and knocked on the first 2 doors. Nobody, it wasn't Kirk. And then finally, I got to the 3rd house. There's Idaho Kirk. Because again, there's only 3 houses in the entire state. So I knock, he answers, and I'm like, dude, website. And he's like, ah. And then he put his skull back on and sat down and we had a nice chat. So he's fine. From what I heard, he's getting better. He's getting fixed. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I took a look. I'm not going to lie to you. I took my binoculars out and took a close up look at his head and it looked fine to me. So, but he's unbelievably courageously worked through his illness because he feels an obligation to. He doesn't need to. I told him he didn't need to, but he felt an obligation to. So he has done everything he can to get my website up and running and make it live. There's new artwork, like I said, on the gallery page. Go ahead and check that out. Also, if you go to the back after this page, you will see that there is new artwork on the back after this page, as well as all new audio spots for you to listen to. Some of them you may have heard last year. Some of them may be for this year, and you haven't heard them. There may be a couple of songs from the interlude on there that you can listen to. There may just be some other spots that you don't remember, but still, and there's amazing artwork of me doing a Van Halen jump, and Mex doing a Van Halen jump. And there's bricks, and go check it out. So there's new artwork that Mex created for back after this, the back after this page. And also, this gets to the initial question that you were asking yourselves of where you can get tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds. If you go to the Joe Business page, the Joe Business page has been redone. And there are links to the Zazzle store on there now. It's new artwork, so there's new hot girls. Go check those out. There's a link to the Zazzle store. There's a link to tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds right there on the Joe Business page. Click through, go through, pick up some earbuds for yourself. Get one of the myriad colors. Get one of the unending styles that they have. As I mentioned, please avoid the Swarovski crystal one. But other than that, I would get the rest. The wood panel, the amazing colors, and all of the fantastic styles for spoken word, for music. Tweakedaudio.com/40 brings it all to you. What if it didn't? What if you put them in and it refused to play spoken word? that would make this show very difficult to listen to. Why would they enter into a deal with me? It makes no sense. I have no idea why they want me on board going ahead and championing their product when the last thing it plays is me. Horrible. But all right, that's fine. But no, it plays everything. Whatever you plug into your iPod and let it play, it'll come smoothly into your head. Through your ears, not like Idaho Kirk, who has to get it right through the top of his head because there's a space. Terrible. Also on that page, there's a link, like I said, to Zazzle, and also there's a link to buy the downloads. And now those are live. You can download year 1. You can buy year 2. You can now also buy year 3 individually. And you can also, and I will tell you that the names of them are, there's the Fellowship of the Schmidt. There's the Return of the Schmidt. And then there is the, holy Christ, what's the other one? I know Lord of the Schmidt is all of them. If you want to buy year 1, year 2, and year 3 together, that's Lord of the Schmidt. But there's the Fellowship of the Schmidt is year 1. Year 2 is, hold on, Lily's looking it up for me. Go to the Joe Business page. Check it out. Click on downloads, and it's,
Return.
all right, what's the first one? The Fellowship of the Schmidt.
Fellowship, the two Schmitties.
The two Schmitties. There you go. The two Schmitties, and then the Return of the Schmidt. That's year 1, year 2, and year 3. With also new artwork for that is associated there. You should check that out. And there's also something new to tell you about, folks. I will talk to you a little bit later. Well, you know what? I'll tell you about it later. I'm not going to talk about it now. But if you want to get tweakedaudio.com/40earbuds, there's now a link right on the Joe Business page, and it'll click you through. And this brings me to this. The website is live, and it has been updated. There is one more thing. Like I said, the gallery page artwork is being done as we speak. But I have been informed by Idaho Kirk that he is no longer going to be involved in my website. And I can't thank him enough for all of the work that he did do. He went ahead and put together a puzzle that, quite frankly, I would not have the patience for. Because he had to deal with me on the phone constantly stressing and freaking out last year as we built the website. And Mex created all of the artwork, and then we would get it to Kirk, and he would give us the specifications for what he needed. Look, I don't know what pixels are. I got no fucking idea. I think it's, from what I remember, it was a straw with candy powder in it. That's what I know about pixels. But having discussions with him and talking about what I needed and what I wanted, and he always made sure that what I needed and what I wanted were the exact same thing, and were always done on time and done whenever he could get them. The only reason he's backing out now is, of course, because he's had these recent medical issues, and he's moving on to take on some other projects that he's always wanted to do, and I don't blame him, man. Quite frankly, he's done what he needed to do with my site. He's updated it. It's live, and he's going to go ahead and take care of his own projects now, and good for him. But Idaho Kirk moving on into the Idaho sunset means that California Mike needs a new web guy. I need a new web person to, you'll be updating the site periodically with artwork and things like that, but mainly it's just maintaining, doing little maintenance stuff that needs to be done. I'll be writing you periodically to tell you, oh, this is weird, what happened, that kind of thing. So I've been told that Kirk gave me explicit instructions of what I need to tell people. Anyone who wants to do my website must have Drupal 6 experience. DRUPAL 6, number 6, experience. I don't know what that means. Drupal 6 sounds like a Sentry robot in 2001. You know what I mean? Like, close the pod bay door, Hal. Drupal 6 is on its way. So you must have Drupal 6 experience, including coding and theming. And then a PHP list or mailing list experience is very helpful but not required, because he said that if you know Drupal, you're going to know PHP list or mailing list. So, but he wanted to make sure that I put that out there. So, and as I've mentioned, I'm not, Captain Cash, but I mean, I'm happy to pay someone to go ahead and come on board and be my web guy. Paid Kirk, worked out fine. We'll talk about numbers. We can talk about what you want to charge me and what I need to pay and all that sort of stuff. Contact me via email at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com if you want to take over the website. And also, go to the website and look around it and check it out. I mean, a lot of you people who wrote me before, if you want to go ahead and try to write me again. But it's important that you know this Drupal 6 and that you have the other stuff, because we do a lot of updating. We update the gallery artwork. We're going to do a lot more of that. And also, there's 2 separate blogs that have, they get to be kind of an issue. You'll notice I haven't updated them since July and August of last year. But that's because it was a pain in the ass posting. And Kirk was like, hey, dude, I'll go ahead and fix those blogs, because I notice now that the interface is not really the friendliest. So I'll go ahead and take care of it. And then Jesus stepped in and kicked Kirk in the head. So he was not able to make the adjustments to the blogs that he wanted to. So if you guys want to bring something like that to the table, anything you've got, go ahead and write me and let me know that you want to take over the website and jump in, and you want me to harangue you. If you're not comfortable just listening to me once a week yell at you via your tweakedaudio.com/40 headphones and want to have me yell at you via your telephone, then by all means, jump in and be the web guy. And I don't yell at anybody. Who am I kidding? Lily makes a face. As part of the show is dedicated to the emails I got last week telling me to stop yelling at Lily. I don't yell at anybody other than my closest friends. Asshat. All right. So things are changing, folks. Things are moving on. That's how it works. And it's year 4 of this show. And you may recall I threw out the theme. I was asking people what they wanted me to talk about. Loose ends to be tied up. And I got a ton of people who wrote me about this. They wanted to hear about it, and it's and I said, okay, I'll talk about this. I got to think of a better way to get into these stories, because this is the thing that I hate. It sounds so. Max actually pitched me. He goes, dude, what if we had like theme music, like for the loose ends? Like there was actually like a bump, like a fanfare, and then loose ends. And then we both were like, that works. It might be kind of corny. I don't know if we can pull it off. Yeah, you're a fan of corny. Well, you had your way. I'd be wearing, white gloves and spraying seltzer in my goddamn pants. That's your speed. It is. You like baggy pants comedy to the point where you actually have books about it on your shelves. What books are those? That's fucking horrible. Literally, the book of baggy pants comedy, you should open it and water should spray you in the face.
Not true.
That's exactly what it should be. Baggy pants comedy. Say, Joe. Yes, John. Running around a fence. Fuck all that. That's not funny. All right.
Okay, Mr.
Chasing each other with seltzer bottles. What? Helicopter was funny. That wasn't baggy pants at all. That was no pants comedy.
I know.
The helicopter was absolute no pants comedy.
I'm just saying, I love all ends of comedy. I love it all.
All
Baggy
right.
Pants, no pants.
She does. Look, as long as there's pants involved, she's fine. If you can sub-genre your comedy into a pants version, she's in. No pants, baggy pants, plaid pants comedy. She loves it. Short pants comedy. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awful. Short pants comedy sounds terrible. Lily's even out. She's like, you know what? No, I don't like all pants comedy. Within 4, I found the one she hates. So he's like, we should have loose ends fanfare, and we're like, I don't know, maybe it works. It would sound cool. It would be amazing if he did it, but it just seems weird to stop down and play a fanfare, as opposed to stopping down and playing a note from Thorgar. All right. Like I told David, I go, look, anything that doesn't have my voice involved, I'm in. Do it. Let's have it. So maybe we should do the fanfare. But as for now, what we have is this. So this is something I had talked about on Never Not Funny, and I never alluded to here. I used to live in Lake Tahoe, folks. Those of you that know me or don't know me, I should tell you, I used to live in Lake Tahoe. I lived in Southern California, and then I met a guy who's like, hey, dude, I'm moving to Nevada to start a gambling system, and I want you to come and work for me. And I said, okay. So then I wound up going to Nevada, working with this guy. He lost all of his money, tried to kill himself. I slapped him in the face and stopped him from doing that. And then we were basically joined at the hip because we had no money together. That's another story that's from year 1 of this podcast. So if you're new and you want to go ahead, buy the Fellowship of the Schmidt, and you'll learn all about this. So I lived in Tahoe with this guy. We wound up living in this woman's house. We rented a room, and I fucking then before I wanted to murder this guy because we were together every waking moment. And we went through a terrible ordeal together with no money. We were homeless. We actually lived in the casinos for a few days. We had all of our stuff impounded at a hotel. We were stealing donuts to live. I mean, it was just fucking weird. And then we finally kind of started to get on our feet, and we went and moved in with this woman named Dolores. Dolores was great. We rented a room from her, and we had to convince her we weren't gay. Because we're like, look, we're 2 guys and we want to rent 1 room, and because that's what our money situation is right now. And I was so exhausted of trying to survive that I actually sat her down and was like, look, and I had to explain to her what was going on, and she's like, all right, well, I'll let you both move in. Which, to her credit, I mean, I can't believe, because it was Dolores and her son, and she let 2 idiots move into her house and rent a room. You can't feel safe with that, right? And because we lived kind of in a wooded area. I mean, eventually you're just going to find her body, right? I would think that. That's the first thing I would think. Of course, what am I think homeless people want to blow me, so what the fuck do I know? I think that if you just came across with that, it's like, hey, look, I can give you $1 now. I mean, what do you want $1 now? Or you can come to my house and take a shower and make $20. 20 seems low. That still seems low, right, for that sort of thing? I don't know. Don't even write that down. That can't be the name. That's far too long and too grim. It can't have to be the name. So that would be the worst name of the show in history. People looking at, oh really? I can't download that. Or they go the other way. I have to download that. What the fuck could that possibly be about? I think homeless people should blow me. All right. So as we're living with Dolores, I get a job place called New York Pizza. All right. So, because I'd been, working in casinos, I'd been trying to survive and make as much money as I could. So then finally I get this job at New York Pizza. And as I'm working there, I'm starting to have more of a social life because I'm actually talking to people I work with and people who come in, they kind of regulars start to know who I am, and I'm funny. So I'm sort of making an impression with those folks, as opposed to just being with Guy and, hanging out with the fucking horrible people at the casino who are betting $5 on hockey and hoping it comes through so they can eat. I mean, that's the position I was in. So, I'm living with Dolores and, starting to find my way and make a little money. So then I'm at the pizza place, and these guys come in one day, and they're joking around, and I'm being funny back with them, and this guy comes to the counter, and I will say this about this guy. he was like stunningly good looking. I mean, like to the point where when he first walked in, I was just like, who's that guy? He looked like a movie star. Like I don't know what it was. Well, yeah, I do know what it was. He looked like Rob Lowe with muscles. Like, I mean, it was just like, like Rob Lowe, but with that V, like, cause he had a half shirt on and shorts. And it was like, I mean, look, folks, I'm a married man. All right. But I accept the fact that when you see a good looking guy, you just go, oh my Christ, I wish I was that guy. But I got a lot of that in me. I got a lot of I wish I was that guy in me at all times. So I was having fun with them and goofing around, and then they left, and then they came in again like 2 days later, and they were being funny, and I was being funny, and they got to know my name, and I found out their names. A guy was named Craig, another guy was named Ransom, and another guy named DJ. And DJ was like the really good looking guy. The other guys were like they were guys, a little older than me, sort of my age. What are you saying? It was his real middle name.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, his first name was Mark, but we all called him Ransom because it was his middle name. So I meet these guys. Well, what's also funny? Craig spelled his name Criag, which I was just like, why the hell is that happening? But they were good guys. So they're coming to eat pizza, and I'm joking around with them, and I get to know them, Craig and DJ and Ransom, and DJ one day comes up to me and he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I go, "Nothing." He goes, "Well, you want to come out?" And I'm just like, I'm swooning. I'm like, oh, what? Really? And these guys are like, yeah, we go, because they worked at the casinos, and DJ's like, yeah, I'm a DJ at a bar, and, just come on out, we'll hang out. And I'm like, fuck, okay, sounds good. And I was like, oh, this is amazing, I got to do this. And then I didn't. Of course, I did not, because I didn't have a car. Like, I had no way to go to the bar. I had no way to get there. Like, I was taking the bus everywhere in fucking town. It was terrible. So there were some other regulars who used to come in all the time, and there was this girl named Katie and her friend Candy, and they used to come in for lunch. And I should tell you this, all right, I was, when I lived in Tahoe, when I moved to Tahoe, I weighed about what I weigh now, which is around 350. And look, my weight is not a recurring fucking thing. I'm not going to talk about it all the time, but it's relevant to this fucking story. But when Guy and I hit the skids and we had no money, we couldn't eat. So we would eat the buffet once a week at Caesars because we knew a guy who was a gambler who would hook us up and we could eat in there. And then we'd walk around and we'd steal tips off tables to gamble. We had there was hard times afoot. We had hit hard times. So, and then I survived basically on dollar pizza in the sports book. And then at the end of the night when we would leave, we would always go to the same liquor store, Guy and I. We would buy a bag of chips, a bag of like Tostitos, like a big bag of tortilla chips, and Guy would steal a jar of salsa. He would put it in his pants. So we would always eat chips. That was what we ate at night, was chips and salsa. And then in the morning we'd steal donuts sometimes because they would put out free donuts for everybody in this hotel we lived at, and we'd sneak down and we'd eat all the fucking donuts before anybody woke up. So again, folks, hard times. Well, I mean, I was 20 at the time. Shit had hit the fan. What do? You do what you do to survive. Otherwise, you wind up in the fucking hedges going, "You got any money?" I mean, you don't want that. Otherwise, you're holding a sign and hoping the next guy offers you to come home and take a bath and blow him. I wasn't about to let that happen. So I had to steal some fucking donuts, all right? So that's what happened with that situation. So because I wasn't eating at all ever, and then, time slipped away, over the months that I was living in the hotel with Guy, we had no food, and then I was living with Dolores, and she would make meals for us, and I felt weird about that because, she was a really good cook, and I would eat, but it was literally the one meal a day I would eat. I wasn't eating the rest of the time because I had no money. I had to save every dime, and so I lost. This is the first time in my life I had ever lost over 100 pounds. I've done it a few times since. But at that point, I lost over 100 pounds over the course of, 5 months of not eating. And then I got the job at New York Pizza, and, I started to live a normal life, but I still had the clothes of a 350-pound dude. So I would go to work, and I had my clothes were just hanging off of me. So Katie and Candy would come in all the time, and they thought I was funny. They thought I was entertaining, and I was cute and funny, and I'm a good-looking fella sometimes, especially when I'm not, a crazy fat dude. So they, for some reason, decided to Pygmalion me. They decided I was their project. So they were like, "Why do you wear these awful clothes?" And I was like, well, I don't, I haven't got a lot of dough, and I lost, money, and da da da, and I lost a lot of weight. And they're like, you know what? We can't have that. You got to come out with us. I'm like, what do you mean? They go, what are you doing tomorrow? So they asked me to go out with them, and they took me out, and they bought me clothes. They bought me a bunch of jeans and shirts and stuff that fit. And, I'm not a good clothes trier on her, because when I was fat, I was real bad at it because you get all sweaty and you get fucking frustrated because you're a fat dude. But to go in and actually try on like nice clothes and then they have them fit, because I was down to about 240, and and looking pretty good. And so I go in and try on real clothes, and I'm able to put clothes on from the rack, like not fat guy clothes. And I was like, oh my God. And they were real nice, and they just spent like $300 on clothes for me. They just kept buying stuff because they were having fun. Like they were having more fun than I was. They're like, it was like Dumb and Dumber. Like they're making me walk out in a tux with, I'm making a sad face. They're like, no, we like it. Bag it up. And I get an orange tux. I dance around. I hit a guy in the knees. Fantastic. But they were having more fun than I was watching me try shit on and getting happy and buying it. So they fucking paid for all of it. It was crazy. And then at this time, Candy took an interest in me kind of romantically, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing at this time. Also, I got to tell you, I'm a virgin at the time. I'm 20. And the only thing I fucked is both hands, literally. So I I'm fun and I'm cute and I'm having, I'm flirting with her, and I've actually sort of have game, like flirty game, because I could talk my ass off, as evidenced by this fucking show. But I'm not a closer at all. Let's put it this way. Alec Baldwin would take the coffee away from me. All right. That is not happening. Put that coffee down. Your dick is not wet. Coffee is for closers. So I go out with Katie and Candy, and then I start to hang out with them a little bit. They want to take me to lunch. They want to be friends. And then Candy starts, she's interested. And which is awkward because all I can think of is Katie. That's all I can think of at the time, because she and I get along great. She's smart and funny, and we can kind of finish each other's sentences, and everything's working, except, Katie's married with kids. Candy is divorced. And Candy is she's like into me. And at that point, my cock is like, dude, who cares? I literally, and let's face it, DJ walked in and my cock was like, what's that? You know what I mean? He's tired of getting fucking romped on by 10 fingers. He's like, you know what, dude? Find somewhere else to put me or I'm leaving. So I start getting along with Candy, and she starts doing well. And then we're out one night, and then we wind up alone with Katie. We go to the movies with Katie. Then we wind up alone in Candy's house, and it's like dark, and we're on the couch, and we're going at it pretty hard, making out and everything else. And then she stands up and goes, let's go in the bedroom. And I'm stunned at this revelation. This is a new development for me. Because I've done other things. I've at this point, I've gotten blown and gotten jerked off, but the only thing I haven't done is fuck somebody. I've done everything else. But I'm fucking petrified. Like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. And also, she's 37. All right, I'm 20. So it's like, I'm not going to be good at this. This is going to be horrible. So I actually said this, and I could hear my voice saying it. And I actually said, no, I can do this all night. Like the making out on the couch. And she's like, no, it's time. Let's go in the bedroom. So I go in there, and I become a man, ladies and gentlemen, to the sounds of I Am So Into You by the Atlanta Rhythm Section on the clock radio. I put forth 2.5 minutes of furious effort. But luckily enough, by the time the song's over, I'm ready to go again. I mean, it's like, again, I'm 20 and who cares? Everybody's getting fucked at this point, because there's a great scene in Soap where Jimmy Bayo, he bangs his teacher and he walks out with a pipe, and he's all fucking gassed. He goes, this is amazing. This is like discovering America or a third arm or something. And it's like, it's exactly what you feel. Like, you all know, you all got fucked, you all got laid. Once you finally have sex, you're just like, oh, dude, let's do that again, and let's get more people. Holy fuck, what's happening? God damn it, start lining them up. I don't care, Candy, I like you, and this was great, but are other people different than you? Do other people do different things? Because then you want to just debut it. It's like, holy shit. It's like being good at magic or something. I can't wait to show everybody this. So I'm dating Candy, and I'm friends with Katie, and they keep coming to New York Pizza. And then DJ, Craig, and Ransom also keep coming in, and I wind up being friendly with them. And I explained that I don't have a car, and they're like, well, why don't you get your friends to bring it? Because now Katie and Candy are there when they're there, and we're all friends now. We're all joking around and having fun. And then they say, hey, why don't you guys just come to the bar and pick up Mike, and we'll all go. And they're like, well, I don't know. Katie and Candy are like, well, maybe we could do that. Again, Katie's got kids and a husband. You know what I mean? And Candy can do it because she's fucking a 20-year-old. What the fuck has she got to do with her life? She's already given away any rules or any sort of boundaries that she might have had. She's ready to go to the goddamn bar and get worked. So I wind up going to the bar with Katie and Candy, and we start hanging out with DJ and Craig and Ransom, and I'm still living with Dolores. And as I'm hanging out with DJ and Craig and Ransom, I'm getting to be more friends with them. And finally they go, hey, dude, where do you live? And I lived up in, I can't remember the name of it. There's sections of Tahoe. There's Kingsbury Grade, which is up the hill and all that. But I lived back in the woods, basically, with Dolores. And they go, dude, you should move in with us. And I'm like, seriously? They go, yeah, we could do, basically they wanted a fourth guy to pay rent. You know what I mean? They're just like, just move in with us, man. It'll be great. And I said, okay. And so I told Dolores that I was going to leave because I was sick of Guy at that point anyway. I needed to get away from him. And Dolores was very nice. So I wound up moving in with DJ, Craig, and Ransom into this, quite frankly, flop house apartment. I mean, it was awesome. It was big and it had 2 bedrooms. But in one bedroom was Ransom and Craig, and DJ had the other bedroom because he had a giant water bed. But he's like, yeah, you can sleep in my room. But, I don't have a bed or anything because I was sleeping on the floor at Dolores's too. I gave Guy the bed and I slept on the floor. I should tell you this about DJ. Crazy good looking. Most obnoxious, horrible person I've ever met in my life. And if I'm saying that, that's something. And that's up to that point. I've met people since then that are worse. But at the time, he was just this fucking narcissistic sociopath who, and all he wanted to do was get laid, and act like an asshole to people. He was mean to women, and they loved it. They loved every second of it because he was so good looking. They didn't fucking care. And I got to admit, I kind of like in my head, I'm like, I got to model myself after this guy because all he did was get laid constantly, get laid. Different chicks. There was a chick named Wendy. Wendy Warner was her name, and well, nobody knows. Nobody cares. I know. Come on, that's a generic enough name where you're gonna look it up. Someone's gonna write a million of them and go, "Are you the Wendy Warner who used to fuck DJ while Mike was there?" Wendy used to hang out with us in town. We called her DJ Slam because she would come over. She was a booty call, but DJ was her booty call. Like when she wanted to get fucked, she'd call Deej. And there were times where Deej would fuck a girl and then Wendy would come over and he would just take her in the room and fuck her in there. He didn't care. He was laying pipe all over the fucking place. And then this is when, at the time I wanted to start getting laid. So it was funny. I was dating Candy and I was her, My Fair Lady. But then I started hanging out with these guys and, I'd start realizing, hey, there's other chicks out there that I can fuck. So, I started to kind of distance myself from Candy a little bit, which she does not like, to the point where I think I told this story on here. She had a friend named Pam, who she brought over to the house one time. The three of us are watching TV, and Pam is like laying all over me. Like she can't keep her hands off me, and Candy's all jealous and mad. And I wasn't exactly discouraging Pam. And then I wound up fucking Pam in her house while her mother-in-law slept in the next room. Yeah, I'm not a good guy, folks, or I wasn't then. I'm great now. I'm a fantastic fella now. But back then, I made choices. So I lived in town. I lived with these guys, and that was the life I led. It was college for me, quite frankly, because I was 20 years old. I had never been to school, and this is my first time kind of being on my own. Because when I was with Guy, even then it was like having a weird brother that I was staying with, because I lived with my brother in downstairs. Oh, terrible! But now it was like fucking let's do everything. I don't fucking care. Let's fuck everybody and move on. So I'm living with them, and I said all these girls. And when we were getting laid, all right, I'll tell you this: I got a job at the bar with DJ. So I was working New York Pizza, but then I was also bouncing at this Faces nightclub. And it had been a gay bar, but then became a straight bar. And DJ was DJing there, and I was bouncing. He was the DJ, I was the bouncer with Jazzy Jeff. And so then we start just basically tearing through all of the gash we can in this town. I mean, it was just brutal. Yes, that's not a kind word, but that's what was happening. So to the point where like Craig and Ransom are getting laid and I'm getting laid and DJ's getting laid, and we're because it's a bar. It's like it might as well not even have been a bar. It was just, you know what it was? It was a Venus flytrap, and any chick that walked in got fucking snared, and she was going to get tagged by one of the four of us. Honestly, someone was going to get dicked, and it was going to be by one of us. So and also I will tell you this: when we would do that, DJ and I, Craig and Ransom weren't really into this part of it, but because I slept in DJ's room, and I should tell you this by the way, I slept in his room on the floor on all of his clothes. He had no dresser. He threw all of his clothes on the ground, and he goes, "Yeah, you can sleep there." I slept in a pile of DJ's clothes, which now that I think about it, really sounds gay. I mean, that sounds even gayer than gay. Like I wanted to be that much closer to him that I slept in a pile of his pants. I mean, that's fucking horrible. But at the time, I was just like, thank God I'm not on a flat floor and I'm gathering up all of his clothes and sleeping on them. And he literally would wake up and just pull something out of the pile and put it on. You know what I mean? And he was a guy, he relished. It was so weird. I've never seen this before or since. A really good looking guy who loved being antisocial and being a pig and being mean, because he knew that he could still get laid and he could still get people to accept him even though he was that terrible of a guy. I mean, he would chew with his mouth open. It was disgusting. And he would get like shit on his hands and wipe it on his shirt. I'm not kidding you. He went out of his way to be a 5-year-old boy. And part of me thinks it was because he wanted to be taken care of by these girls. And believe me, they all wanted to take care of him. All of them. I have, again, not before or since, ever seen a guy who had that kind of magnetism where he would fuck 2 girls a night. Like, I mean, it was that crazy. He would be in the DJ booth and he would go, "Hey dude, can you fill in for me from, I was bouncing," and I would go up in there and he would disappear and he was off getting blown. I mean, it was like he was that guy. He had this weird magnetism. And it was over everybody, guys too. I mean, like men would come in because it used to be a gay bar and they would just tip him like to play songs just to talk to him. I mean, it's crazy. Which of course led me into a complex of I want to be that guy, but I didn't have that kind of magnetism. As you can see, I'm very polarizing. I never, I could get laid, but not like that. I mean, he could walk into a grocery store and panties would drop. It was crazy, but also the fucking worst guy ever. So, this girl Wendy used to come over and we would laugh because Wendy would be she was really cute. She was so cute. And it drove us crazy because we all thought she was so cute and lovable, and we couldn't understand why she would let DJ treat her like a dish rag, because she would come over drunk and on wine, and she would have a little wine, and we'd all watch movies because we lived in this house together, and all we had was like a TV, and we had a ton of videotapes. Like we might have had 200 videotapes, maybe even more, and all of them had 3 movies on each videotape. So our lives, dude, it was this ridiculous life where we'd be out all night at the bar. Okay, I'd be bouncing, he'd be DJing. The bar would close at 6. Then we would go to an after-party bar. There was a bar called the Goalpost, which served amazing food. So we'd get mozzarella sticks and big fucking Goalpost burgers, and we'd play foosball and the jukebox, and then we'd leave there at 10 a.m. And then we'd go home, and we would go to sleep and wake up at 5 in the afternoon, walk down the block to Kentucky Fried Chicken, buy a bucket of chicken, come back to the house, and they would drink beer, and we'd watch movies until we had to do it all over again. Unless we were getting laid. You know what I mean? Then some chick would walk out and we'd be like, "Oh, you want Kentucky Fried Chicken?" I mean, it was literally because you never knew who was going to be in the house. Wendy was there all the time. Wendy would, and the thing is, DJ had, all right, again, imagine this. And he got away with this. He would bring chicks home. And there were times when I'd be asleep in the clothes, and he would walk in with a chick and start fucking her in the waterbed. And they would say, "What about him?" And he'd go, "Don't, it's Mike, he's asleep." And he would fuck these girls in the waterbed. And I would just get up and go into the living, because I don't, look, it was homo weirdness enough. All right. I mean, like, it was gay enough for me to be sleeping in his pants. I don't need to sit there while he's getting laid and jerk off to it. So, but part of me actually, because he actually said to me, he goes, "Hey, do you want me to see if, if I bring a girl home, do you want me to like wake you up and like get you involved?" And I didn't know what to fucking say. Like, I thought I was just kind of open mouthed, like, "What, seriously?" And then he laughed at me. He was like, "Haha, no." But I bet he could have done it, and I bet they would have done it for him. They would have, "Hey, can you just throw Mike one while I'm, having a Coke?" And they would have. That's what he had. But so that's what I'm saying is I would go out into the living room, but here was his rule. I swear to God, this is so true. And he would fuck these girls in this room with me on the floor and a wall of ladies' underwear. Did I mention that yet? All right. That's what I said. Craig and Ransom weren't into this. Me and DJ, when we would fuck girls, we would take their underwear. We made it a thing. We were like, "Yeah, just, if you get laid, bring the underwear home." And then we would put it on the wall. And literally we had a wall full of panties, like lined up all up and down the fucking wall. And girls would still fuck him in that atmosphere. That's how you got to be really good looking with a big hose to fucking pull that off. And he did, man. And so he also had this rule. I swear this is a true rule. Yeah, I don't sleep with girls. So when we're done fucking, you got to go sleep out in the living room. And girls would do it. He would stay in the bed, and they would leave. They would walk out with they would just grab a shirt off the floor and put his shirt on and come out in the living room because they wanted to be there when he woke up, I guess. I don't fucking know. Because oftentimes we'd be watching movies and some girl would walk out, Wendy would walk out in a dress shirt, and she'd be like, hey guys, and she'd just get some wine and sit with us and watch movies after fucking DJ while he went to sleep in his room. I mean, to be able to pull that off, he had hand. The guy had the ultimate fucking hand. And like I said, part of me knew it was an atrocious, horrible way to behave. But then part of me was like, fuck, I wish I could do that. God damn it. But he was still a cock. I mean, he was still just a cock. Craig and Ransom I got along with great. And I got along with DJ, but he was still a dick. So one night, Wendy comes over, and she's half lit. And Ransom's got this girl, Stacy, that he's fucking now after DJ fucked her. And we're in the house watching movies, and Wendy goes and fucks DJ, and she comes out, and then DJ actually walks out naked. Stacy's in the room, because again, proud of everything he's got, and rightfully so. And everybody in the room has seen what he's got, so it's not surprising us. But he would do that. He'd walk around naked. He just comes walking out of the room naked after fucking Wendy. And Wendy and Stacy are on the couch, and we're watching movies, and we're watching The Lost Boys. Okay. And people are drinking. And DJ comes out, and he thank God throws on some underwear and sits down rather than sitting down bare ass on the couch. That was a rule we had. And because we slept on the couch sometimes, don't bare ass the couch. Chick, we don't care, bare ass the couch. So we're watching The Lost Boys, and there's drinking going on, and we're watching it, and we're talking, and all of a sudden Wendy goes, we got to do that. And Stacy's like, what? And she goes, let's be the Lost Boys. And we're, what? What are you talking about? She goes, let's be the Lost Boys. Let's go to Santa Cruz. And we lived in Lake Tahoe. Okay. And they go, what do you mean? Let's go to Santa Cruz. It's probably like 9 o'clock at night. And she goes, let's go to Santa Cruz and be vampires. Because she's got some wine in her, and she just got fucked, and she's all groggy with bedhead. And DJ goes, fuck yeah, let's go. And I have to be honest with you, if DJ said, let's do something, I'm doing it because I'm basically DJ's puppy dog at this point. Yeah, DJ wants to go. I'm in. Let's go. Let's do it. And Craig and Ransom are like, seriously? And Stacy goes, let's do it. Let's go to Santa Cruz and be vampires. And so then the girls are running around, and they're getting dressed, and DJ's throwing some clothes on. And Ransom is like, you guys are fucking crazy. Are you serious? And Craig's like, oh, let's fucking do it. Let's go. And Craig just wanted to go because Stacy was going to go and Ransom wasn't going to go, so he thought he could get it. He's already fucked 2 guys in the house. Take a shot. So I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. So we do. We leave. We go. We get dressed, and we climb into. Wendy had like a Firebird, I think, some small fucking car. And in the back seat, in the front seat, it's Wendy's driving, and DJ's in the front seat. And in the back seat, it's me and Craig with Stacy across our laps. And we're going to drive to Santa Cruz and be vampires. And Wendy's drunk, like she's got wine in her, but we don't fucking care. We climb in the car, we all get in, we're dry, and we just hit the open fucking road, windows down, singing. And we're singing the, thou shalt not kill, the song from Lost Boys. Cry Little Sister. She's got the soundtrack, and she's got it in, and we're singing, and we're singing Lost Boys soundtrack. We're singing the whole way. She's driving, and I'm just happy because I got Stacy on my cock. I mean, like, she's like, every time she shifts, I had a heart on the entire way to fucking Sacramento. It was crazy. But, because Stacy's wearing like a half shirt and shorts, and she's sprawled across us, and she keeps squirming like a child trying to get comfortable. I'm like, keep squirming. I'm going to go off in my pants. Go ahead. So we're riding down to fucking Santa Cruz to be vampires, and I couldn't believe Wendy pulled it off. And we're singing and we're yelling. This is great. It seems like fun, and we've got Cokes in the car, and hey, yay, we didn't bring any booze, thankfully, because we get near Sacramento, and we've been driving for hours, and woo, we get pulled over. Wendy has. Wendy's got, she didn't turn her signal on to switch lanes or something.
Oh, shit.
So they pull us over. Cop comes up, and he sees 5 people in a Firebird. Starts asking questions, and Wendy, to her credit, has sort of sobered up at this point. So she's very cogent. She makes her way through it. And I also think it didn't hurt that she's wearing a dress shirt with no bra. and Stacy's wearing like very little clothing and shifting around, and he can see that. So he takes all of our IDs. He goes back to the car, and we're like, "What the hell are we gonna do?" And DJ's like, "I don't know. We should run." And Wendy's like, "What do you mean? We don't even know where we are. It's dark. It smells like shit because it's the farm roads, you know." And he's like, DJ's like, "We should go. We should make a fucking run for it. Let's go." I go, "We didn't do anything wrong. Why the fuck are we going to run?" And Stacy's like, "I'm not going anywhere." And Craig's like, "Look, if Stacy's not going, I'm not going." And I go, "Well, if they're not going, I can't go. I'm wedged in the fucking back seat in a goddamn Firebird womb with Stacy on top of me shifting around, and I can't run with a hard on anyway." So fucking DJ's pissed. He's like, "We should fuck," because it was another thing. He was very used to calling the shots and telling us what to do. And he was Peter Pan. And whatever the fuck he said, we did. And Craig and Ransom didn't. They kind of distanced themselves. But whatever, I was always up for it. Let's go. You want to steal a stop sign? Let's do it. I mean, it's dumb. So he was pissed that we couldn't go. So then the cop comes back and he starts handing out tickets. He gives one to Wendy for not signaling when she did a lane change. And he's got one other ticket in his hand, and he goes, "Who is Mike Schmidt?" And I go, "Me." And he goes, "Here." And he hands me my license with the with the fucking ticket. He gave me a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt because I'm in the back seat, and I didn't think I needed a seatbelt since I have a fucking human airbag named Stacy on top of me. But he gives me a ticket and says, "There you go, that's for that." And then he hands Stacy a ticket for not having a seatbelt, and DJ and Craig get no tickets. I don't even know if Craig had a seatbelt on. I don't know how he knew I didn't have a seatbelt. Whatever. He didn't make us get out of the car. He just made us give him my IDs. And he's all right. So, be careful driving and you should head home or whatever. And he splits. So, that took the wind out of our vampire sails. We decided, you know what? Maybe going to Santa Cruz and being vampires isn't such a great idea. So Wendy turns the Firebird around and we head back to Tahoe. That was it. Made it to Sacramento. Instead of making it to Santa Cruz to be vampires, we made it to Sacramento to be scofflaws. So we head back to Tahoe, and that's, whatever. I was pissed. I'm like, but I also tell you this. I'm at a phase in my life. I'm 20, going to be 21, and I have no responsibility for anything at all. The only way I pay bills is when guys come to me and go, "Hey, the bills are due," and then I give them money. But otherwise, I don't give them a fucking second thought. I'm a child. I quite frankly, I still am now, but back then, much worse because I took that ticket and threw it away immediately. I didn't even fucking care about it. Who cares? I mean, sir, because who cares? It's a fucking seatbelt ticket. No, who cares? And then I also, later on, I got into a bar fight. I told you that. I got into a fist fight at a bar, and I broke my hand. And I went into the emergency room, and they had to set my hand, and they put a cast on it. And I never paid it. Yeah, thanks for fixing my hand. Never see me again. I was like the Johnny Appleseed of violence and bad things. Like I was throwing around. It didn't matter. I was just fucking ruining everything. So we get back to Tahoe. We start, hanging out some more. And I should tell you this. That summer, this is like 88. Summer of 88. DJ's from Idaho. He lives in one of the 3 houses up there. And he decides that his friends Rick and Robert are going to come stay with us for the summer. And he asks us if it's okay. And we're all kind of sick at Deej at this point. But also it was the summer and we didn't fucking care. And it was 2 more guys to chip in on rent. So we're like, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Bring them down. And we liked Rick and Robert. They had been down already. So now you've got 5 guys. Now you got 6 guys living in this apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. Rick and Robert sleep in the living room. I still sleep on the floor. DJ sleeps in his waterbed. And they're hanging out at the bar. They get jobs at the bar. I think one of them's a dishwasher. There's not even dishes. We get them on the payroll. They're hanging out. One of us gets a job. Robert gets a job at the casino. And literally it's a summer where all they do is we drink, we eat top ramen, we play fucking basketball in the house, we play Waiter with a Bad Disposition, which is a game that I invented. We watch movies, and we actually have a giant arcade game in our living room. There was a game you used to be able to play. It was a football game, and on the screen it were X's and O's, and you would roll like a rolly trackball to make the X run or the O run. We had that full-size arcade game in our living room and had tournaments on that. It was a fucking zoo house. I mean, the walls were covered with Hustler centerfolds and panties. In the living room, we took masking tape, like, that white masking tape, and we did a chalk outline of a body on the rug in the fucking living room. I mean, it was just idiots, grown men, idiots. I made up a word. and you know, so but the thing was, it was a summer of just fucking chicks and not caring. Which, and when I say a summer of that, I mean it was my life at that time. It was the winter. It didn't fucking matter. I didn't give a fuck if the sun was out. All I was trying to do was get laid and have fun. So DJ, you know, like I said, it's always a different circle of girls. We're in the club one night at Faces, and this girl walks in, and I mean, I'm in the DJ booth with DJ, and we see her across the room walk in like a white terry cloth dress. Do you know what I mean by that? Like it's not like a robe, but it's thin, but it's terry cloth, and it's there's no straps, and she walks in. Her body was retarded, like a Kim Kardashian type of body now. You know what I mean? Like that kind of body. And she walks in, white terry cloth dress, tan as fuck, and she was a ginger, a tan ginger. How the fuck does that happen? A tan redhead, and the bluest eyes ever, and the hugest tits. I mean, just big tits and hard nipples. Walks into the bar, and we both see her, and DJ goes, "Dibs," which was kind of him, because I didn't have a fucking chance in the world of nailing this chick. So she comes in, and she goes right to the DJ booth where we're standing, and we're just staring at her, and she leans over, and her fucking tits are just hanging. Oh my God. Her body was wrong. And she goes, "I have a request." And DJ's like, "Whatever you want, darling." And she requested New Order. She wanted to hear the song True Faith. And he's like, all right, because we had a mixed crowd. We'd have white people and black people would want to hear dance stuff, and then, you know, white people wanted to hear white people dance stuff. So white people would always want to hear Def Leppard and Journey, and like I said, and she requested New Order, and she wanted to hear True Faith. So he puts it on. It's, you know, "I feel so extraordinary, something's got a hold on me," and she's out dancing and by herself, like moving, and the crowd is, it's, you know, it's packed, but the dance floor clears when that song comes on. But she hits the floor and she's dancing in that dress, and you can just see every guy looking at her, and they were just wishing that this bar had a pinball machine. Because every guy had the same fucking thought at once. And we're all making like furtive, we're all making eye contact, and we're all like, you know, we could lock the doors, really. I mean, she was on the dance floor. So I go back to my post to bounce, and we're hanging out when Ransom and Craig show up, and they walk in, and I go, "Did you see that?" And they go, "What?" And they look on the dance floor, and they see her, and they're like, whoa, dude. And Craig goes, "Dibs." I go, "DJ called dibs." He goes, "Fuck DJ, he's always got dibs." I go, "He was here, you weren't." And because that was, so none of us, you know, we couldn't all, you didn't want to be a Tex Avery Wolf and hit yourself on the head with a goddamn shoe as you chase the chick around the fucking bar if your roommate wanted her too. So we knew we'd lost her to DJ anyway, because I could tell when I was in the DJ booth, and she's like, "I have a request," and he played it immediately. He actually stopped the song he was playing to put it on. He didn't even mix it, he didn't even fade it, just like put it on. She's dancing by herself. And she starts hanging around, and you know, she sits at the table with Ransom and Craig and DJ, and I walk over periodically, and we find out, and it turns out her name is Monday, spelled just like the day of the week. And she's a young girl, she's 21, you know, she's my age, lives with her parents, they're in Tahoe. She's back for the summer. She was away at school, but now she's back. And she's talking, and she won't stop talking. She's completely uninteresting. It's like, but we don't care, because as she talks, her tits bounce. So we're just watching her sway around. And so she winds up hanging out with us all night. And then she winds up back at my house. And she winds up getting fucking railed by DJ that night, you know. And we knew she was there because when, you know, she came in the house. And then they disappear into the bedroom. And she was loud, all right? So that's another reason we knew that she was there. She was pretty loud. But then you actually heard her say, she's like, wait a minute. You actually heard her say that through the wall. And then, all of a sudden, in the room, music starts playing, because we had a stereo in there. And it's like, I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me. And I'm like, what, really? So she requested New Order there, and now she's playing it, and she's getting fucked? You got to be shitting me. But that's what she wanted to do. She loved it was, I think the album was called Substance, but she loved New Order. So she would that was the thing, is she would request it in the club. And so then DJ, he's banging her, but he's banging a bunch of other chicks. But then over the course of like 2 weeks, he starts to get exclusive with Monday. And let me tell you something. When a guy's exclusive with a girl, and he lives with 5 other dudes who are trying to get laid all the time, I mean, it's really antithetical, because we were used to having, there would be girls running around in their underwear. I mean, it was really kind of an animal house, man. It was crazy. And he started bringing over Monday, like, to hang out and watch movies with us and be our friend. And we're like, fuck, we hate Monday. We don't want to fucking hang out with her. And it wasn't really anything against her. It was just, don't bring a chick in here to muck this whole fucking thing up. You brought your friends down from Idaho, and they're sleeping on the goddamn floor. So now we're all going to be out in the living room while you're getting fucked, and we got to hear you getting fucked. And every time he would bring her in there, and they would be in there for 10 minutes, and then you'd hear, I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me. And I'm like, we hated her. We hated DJ. We hated New Order. We hated fucking Britpop. We hated it all. New Wave bullshit. Couldn't stand it. Because he'd play it at the club when she would walk in. He would stop whatever he was playing and play it for her. And it was just like, what are you doing? You're falling in love. You're the guy who fucks everybody and everything. You're the guy who has dirty dishes in his bed. You got to be shitting me. But she got comfortable at the house to the point where one time I went in to go to bed and she was naked, which was, I will tell you, that was the only positive, was getting to see Monday naked. And she didn't care, because she got used to being around us so much. We were just like DJ's friends. So I walked in and she was getting dressed, and it was the weirdest thing, because she was walk of shaming, because she'd been there from the night before. I walked in and she's walking around naked in heels. She's got her heels on, but she's completely nude, and she's gathering her dress up to get dressed. And she's like, "Hey, Mike." And I've had this happen before. I walked in on Bobby Brown naked, and I walked in my brother's girlfriend naked and stuff. And it's never not awesome. It's never, you never get tired of it, especially with that rockin' body. Because I'd seen it. Look, I pretty much knew what she looked like anyway, because she wore these thin fucking dresses and no bra, hard nipples constantly. But when I walked in, and again, she's a ginger, so she had pink nipples and fucking and carpet and drapes, and everything was appropriate. And oh my fucking God. And I'm just like, hey, hi, all right, Monday. And I walk out. And Craig and Ransom, they see me when I walk out, and they go, "Isn't Godzuki in there?" And I go, "Yeah." I didn't say that yet, did I? No. Okay. Monday was gorgeous, but she had a weird face. I don't know what it was. She had really blue eyes and really red hair, and was tan. But her face was kind of curled up, and she was cross-eyed. So we used to call her Godzuki. Godzuki was Godzilla's nephew in a cartoon. And because she had her teeth were on, her teeth were weird, and she just had an odd face. I mean, her body, everything else made up for it, okay? You wouldn't have noticed it, but we all called her Godzuki, okay? To the point where eventually we started calling it to her face, because after a while we just got tired. Oh, fucking Godzuki's here. God damn it. Like, we hated her. We wanted her out of our goddamn house. And, but it got to the point where we would come home, and she drove a Suzuki Samurai, and her fucking Suzuki Samurai would be out front, and we would just be like, fuck, Godzuki, no! We hated her. So, we were out one night, and, like I said, she would be in the house all the time. She'd be hanging out, and we went out to the bar. She was at the dance club, and Ransom and I split early, and we stopped 7-Eleven, and we went and got some fucking pecan twists and chocolate milk, and we're heading home. And DJ said he wasn't going to be home that night. He was going over to her parents' house, I guess. I don't know where the fuck they were going, but we didn't care. We were just happy. And Ransom and I pull up outside of our house in the red sled, which I've described Ransom's car. It's a small little MG midget. And there's the fucking Suzuki Samurai outside of our fucking house. And I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. Dude, we fucking hate Godzuki. Why is she here? So we go to walk in the house, and we look, and the keys are in the Samurai, along with her purse. And neither one of us had the idea first I think we both had the idea at the exact same time. Because I looked at Ransom and he looked at me, and we both smiled, and then we stole her car. Because we didn't want to go in the house, and we had already turned Ransom's car off. There was no point hopping back into that one. So the two of us, it wasn't even an issue. We didn't even say, you want to do this? We didn't say, hey, let's go, or we didn't have to convince one another. We made eye contact, we smiled, and we both just climbed into the fucking Samurai and said, let's go. And he starts it up, and we drive off. I'm in the passenger seat. We're driving. And we just take off down the street. And it's a Samurai, so the roof is open. There's like no roof. And this is when Samurais were deemed dangerous. All right, people were talking about it. So we're driving, and Ransom goes, hey, I wonder if we could roll this.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, dude, we got to try it. Let's try to roll it. That's what we got to do. So I'm holding onto the fucking, the sidebars and stuff, and we're taking corners like super fast. I don't think we hit the brakes the first 5 minutes we're in the car. We're just driving and going around corners super fast and trying to roll it. And a couple times it kind of hopped up, but it never really tipped. And we're like, God damn it, what's happening? So we're driving. We drive for about 5 minutes. We're driving around all around town, around Tahoe, the back roads and where we're at. And I fucking turn on the stereo. I turn on the car. I feel so extraordinary. Something's gotta hold on. Fuck! God damn it, I'm sick of this fucking song. You know what? Fuck it. I eject the tape. I just start unspooling the cassette tape. I just start pulling the tape out of the thing and start spinning it around like a fucking lasso. Woohoo! I fucking tie the tape to the actual side of the Samurai. It's dragging. You can hear the fucking tape. And Ransom just starts laughing his ass off. I go, oh, that's funny? I go, is that funny? Oh, fuck that. You know what? And I start throwing everything out of the car. There's money in the console, handfuls of change, I'm throwing it. I go in the glove compartment, everything. The manual, I throw it out the roof. I'm throwing everything out of the roof of the car as we're driving. I'm leaving like a trail of fucking Monday garbage. It's like, fuck you, Godzuki. You come to our house and kick us out of our apartment? Fuck off. So we're driving Godzuki's car. We're trying to roll the Samurai. I throw her purse out the top of the fucking car. I don't even think. I'm not thinking. All right, I got to admit, I'm not thinking. It's stupid. But it's one of those things where you're laughing uproariously. You ever have like you get into like a weird tickle fight with somebody and you're laughing and laughing, and then it calms down. You're like, oh, what do we do now? Well, that's what it was like in the car. Ransom and I are dying laughing. I'm just happy to have fucking killed the New Order tape finally. And I'm fucking throwing all this shit. I throw her purse out. I throw her manual. I throw everything out of the car, and we're driving around. And we're laughing. And then we kind of come down and we're like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Man, that was stupid. This is dumb. We shouldn't have done this. Yeah, this is kind of stupid. All right. So we go back to the house, you know what I mean? And we're like, we feel bad. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like, we're just going to explain to Godzuki that we got into her car and some, maybe somebody stole some shit. Who knows? We don't know what we're going to say at that point because quite frankly, we weren't thinking the entire time. We're just going to park Godzuki's car outside with the keys in it and go in the house and have her think that somebody stole her manual and tied her fucking New Order tape to the outside of the car. She's going to just, it'll just gloss over. She's getting laid anyway. Although maybe she's not getting laid because the New Order was in the car. So we're like, all right, we just got to fucking head home. This is ridiculous. Because it was like 15 minutes of awesomeness. And then we finally came down and went, this is horrible. So we go driving back and there's a main road and we have to come up by the Kentucky Fried Chicken and the Donut House. And we come up and we can already see it from a block away. Just red and blue spinning around. And we kind of inch past our block. We didn't turn on our block. We pulled up a little bit from way in the back. You can't see us. But we can see in our parking lot, there's 2 cop cars with the fucking lights on, the cherries. And so, of course, we just got to get back in the car and go over and just explain that it's a fucking misunderstanding. It's ridiculous. So all you got to do is just go over there and tell them. So immediately, Ransom floors it and we get the fuck out of there. Because logic plays no point at this point. We can't pull up and go, oh, haha, we just took your car, sorry. I mean, we didn't know what to say. We could have probably explained it away, but we said, it's best to just fucking disappear at this point. So he floors it. We fucking drive off. And then it becomes, as fun as it was, now we're just like, oh, fucking Godzuki called the cops. You got to be shitting me. And we're freaking out and we're driving and we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Before we were laughing, but now we're like, what the fuck? What's going to happen? What the fuck? So we finally drive. We go north of where we live. There's a shopping center. And in this shopping center, there's pay phones. This is way pre-cell phones. So we go into the shopping center. We pull in. And we decide we're going to call the house. And we're going to tell her, you know, hey, look, I don't know what's going on, but there's a misunderstanding. We borrowed your car to go get some food, whatever. Meanwhile, everything she owns is on the road. I was like, we threw it out. It's ridiculous. The cassette tape is still trailing off the Samurai. I wish we would have rolled it at that point. So we get out, and Ransom goes, all right, well, I'm going to run in and get something to drink, and then I'm going to make the phone call. And I said, okay. So he runs into the gas station, like there's a shopping center. He goes into a gas station. I'm standing there by the Samurai. And I see from behind the gas station, because it's a big mall type of parking lot, I see a Tahoe cop car with all of its lights out, approaching slowly. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's probably not good at all. At this point, I should probably just hop in and drive to Santa Cruz and be a vampire. So Ransom's getting a soda, and he comes out and he picks up the payphone and he's calling, and the cop car's just sitting there. Nothing's happening. And Ransom yells, he goes, there's no answer. I said, you should probably come over here. He goes, well, hold on, I'm going to try again. And he hangs up and he dials the phone. He's like, they won't answer. He goes, maybe they're outside talking to the cops. And I go, nah, I don't know if they are. I said, you need to come over here. As he's talking, another cop car comes in from the other side. I see it coming. And it's got all the lights out. They're sneaking up on us. They think they've got us dead to rights. He's on the phone. He's got a Coke. I'm leaning against the Samurai. Cassette tape flowing in the wind. The case is gone, by the way, as you know. I mean, it got shattered as we were driving. It's skipping off the fucking ground. It's just a fucking cassette tape. Looks like a streamer hanging off the goddamn side of the Samurai. Finally, the cop cars make their move. Ransom comes walking over from the phone. I go, you need to get over here right now. He starts walking over, and as he's walking over to me, the cop cars come into the parking lot, and then they hit the fucking cherries. And they swoop up, and they're like, Vroo! And they go, get down on the ground, get down on the ground. Because there's not a lot of crime in Tahoe. So to them, this is like SWAT team training. They're all excited. They got some, guys who stole a car. So they fucking burst out of their car, and Ransom's got a lady cop on his side yelling, get down, real high voice. I've got, like, the deepest voice ever. I've got Charlton Heston. So he's like, get down on the fucking ground, get down now. And I put my hands up and I lay down face down on the ground, and I can see Ransom. Like, my head's here and his head is close to mine. And the woman comes over to him and she starts talking to him. Meanwhile, the guy comes up to me and they have their guns drawn. All right, their guns are out on us. Get down on the ground. He walks up to me. This guy walks all the way up to me with the gun pointed. He's got it pointed. He walks up. He presses it against the back of my head. I'm face down and I feel the gun press into the back of my head. And I'm like, what? What the why? I don't say anything. I'm just I start shaking. I'm like freaked out. So he's got the gun pressed against my head. He's like, you fucking stole a car? And then he literally jumps on me. He knees me in the back and he grabs my hair and he shoves my face into the fucking dirt in the parking lot. He's like, you stole that car, didn't you? And I can't even talk because I had a gun to my head. And now this guy's got his knee in my back. He's fucking me up. And the lady cop, I think his name was Jim. She's like, Jim, calm down. And he's like, no, fuck that. You can't fucking steal a car. And he fucks my hands up. He pulls my hands behind my back, tells me to put them back there. And he twists my wrists and he fucking cuffs me as hard as he can and in the most uncomfortable fashion. And Ransom, meanwhile, is like, he's sitting up. And the woman is putting the cuffs on him. She's being nice to him. They're watching me get the shit beat out of me. And I guess this has happened before where I've had incidents with police because I'm big. And they want to try to show me who's boss, or they want to make sure, because they think I'm going to do something. I'm not going to do anything. Fuck that. So, he's on my fucking, I'm sorry, I'm moving the microphone again. It's so stupid. It's so terrible. I'm in the womb. And he's kneeling on my back, and then he fucking cuffs me. He stands up, and he goes, get up. And, I'm a turtle at this fucking point, folks. I mean, I don't know. I can't so I try to sit up, and he goes, I said get up. And he grabs my wrists with the handcuffs and my hair, and he lifts me off the fucking ground by my hair and the handcuffs. And he slams me up against the cop car. And the woman is like, easy, Jim. Like, she's trying to get him, and Ransom, meanwhile, I think she got him tea. She's giving him a back rub. Meanwhile, I got Vic Mackey trying to prove something. So I'm against the car. They fucking smash us. They put us both in the back seat of the cop car. And finally we're alone and we're in the car. And I look at him and I go, are we fucked? We're fucked, right? And he goes, yeah, we're fucked. And I go, did she call the cops? I mean, Godzuki didn't call the fucking cops, did she? And as we're trying to talk in the fucking car, another cop car pulls up. And fucking DJ and Monday hop out of the back. And they walk over, the cops walk them over and they point and they go, is this them? And she goes, yeah, that's them. And she's making a mean face. She's all pissed off. And he goes, all right. He goes, well, and DJ, to his credit, DJ just goes, well, I mean, we know them, officer. And Monday goes, I don't know them. She goes, they stole my car. And my heart sank because I knew then, I'm like, we're fucked. She's pressing fucking charges. And she just starts laughing and pointing at us in the car. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, fuck you. You thought you'd get away with it? You can't get away with that. You think you can get away with stealing my car? You can't get away with stealing my car. Ha ha. And she's laughing, like maliciously laughing, but like really genuinely psychotically laughing. Like, ha 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 ha. Like not forcing it. She's having fun. And Ransom and I are just, I mean, there's nothing we can do. We're just staring at the fucking, out the window, handcuffs. I'm bleeding from my fucking head from getting hit in the, I still have the knot. You can feel it on my hairline. And DJ's not saying anything. He's just fucking standing there. And he's letting her point at us and laugh and all this shit. And the cop goes, look. And he goes, he says you know him. You say you don't know him. What? And now you seem like you know them. What's the fucking story here? And she's like, well, no, they stole my car. And he goes, so you want to press charges? And she goes, yeah, I want to press charges. And DJ goes, we do know them. And the cop goes, all right, you need to get your fucking story straight. Do you know them? Yes or no? And DJ says yes. And then Godzuki goes, yeah. And he goes, all right, listen, if these are your friends and you're having fun and playing a prank, you need to tell me now. Because if you don't, they are going to jail for Grand Theft Auto, which is a felony. And they will go to jail for that. So if you want that, fine. But if you don't, if this is just you being vindictive or you're angry and they are your friends, you need to tell me now. And she goes, what do you think? What do you think I should do? She starts yelling at us in the car. And I'm just shaking my head like, no, don't. I mean, don't. And Ransom actually hit his head on the fucking shield in between the thing. He's just like, fuck. Because there's nothing we can do. And she's laughing and pointing. And DJ looks at her and he's like, come on. And she goes, all right, yeah, I know them. I'm sure they just borrowed the car. It's fine. And the cop goes, you're sure about that? And she goes, yeah, they're his roommates and my car was there. And I'm sure it's a misunderstanding, but I did think they stole it when I called you, but everything, it's fine. I don't want to press any charges. And the cop goes, okay, all right, well, that's your car's right there if you want to take it, you guys. And she's like, fine. And he goes, well, hold on. Do you want to take them home? And they start opening up the car door, and I'm like, thank God, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. And they go to take us out of the car door, and Monday's like, I don't think I want to give them a ride. And the cop comes over, and she goes, well, that's okay. She goes, one of them's not going with you anyway. And they're like, what? And they go, well, we ran a check on these guys. She goes, who is Mike Schmidt? And I went to raise my hand. It was my right hand was uncuffed, and I raised my hand. They were uncuffing my left hand, and she goes, you have a warrant for a ticket you didn't pay in Sacramento. And I went, and this is like 6 months later, and I'm like, oh no. She goes, so you're going to jail, my friend. And Godzuki just starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. She starts going crazy laughing. And I said, okay. And they recuffed me, put me back in the car, drove me to the jail. And they told me in the car, they go, you had a ticket that went to warrant in Sacramento. And it's a bench warrant. You have to go to Sacramento. We're going to send you in the morning. So I said, what? They go, yeah. She goes, unless you can get bailed out and pay the ticket fine money and your bail, you're going to go to Sacramento in the morning. We're going to send you on the bus. Because Tahoe's small, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the way station between Sacramento and basically Reno where they take care of everything. You know, Tahoe doesn't fucking care. They got a jug jail. So I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm going to go to Sacramento on a prison bus for a seatbelt ticket? Because I wanted to be a vampire? God damn it. So they put me in the jug. I go into fucking jail, and I'm alone. I'm in the fucking, the big room by myself, and it's just got these thin little, like, metal benches against the wall, and there's a fucking exposed toilet, and I'm just like, it's late, and I'm fucking gassed, and I'm freaked out about Sacramento. I don't know what the fuck is going to go on. So I actually curl up on the bench and go to sleep. I don't even know how long I slept. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I got no fucking idea. All I know is I wake up because a guy hits me in the feet. Hey, move. And I open my eyes, and I had been alone in the jail cell when I went to sleep, and I wake up, and 25 of my closest friends are now in the jail with me, in orange jumpsuits and chains.
Oh my god.
They're on their way to Reno to get processed.
Oh my god.
These are criminals. And among them is a guy who that week had set a child on fire.
Oh god.
He was in the paper for it. And he's sitting down on the bench right by me. And I sit up, I wake up, and he's like, move. And they need room to sit down. And I sit up, and I'm just like sitting there amidst the fucking jumpsuits. And everybody's talking, and they're all kind of lively for going to fucking jail. And the guy says, where are you going? You going to Reno? I said, no, I think I'm going to Sacramento. And he goes, oh, fucking California. Terrible. And I go, yeah, horrible. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm trying to fit into it. I don't get raped by 9 guys. And some of them are chained. Like I said, they have their hands chained to their thing, but some of them are just wearing the jumpsuits and they're not chained. And a guy wriggles out of his jumpsuit and just gets naked, takes a shit. And as he's shitting, they bring in breakfast for us. And they bring in breakfast, and it's like cream of wheat and a piece of bread and a piece of bologna and a fucking apple. And they start passing it out to everybody. Because I had good, when I was in jail in Anaheim, that was good. It was Carl's Jr. But there's one in fucking Tahoe. Holy shit, it was just a pile of mess. Horrible. And I'm holding the tray, and this guy's shitting and a nasty, I'm going to jail shit. Like it was his last shit as a free man. So he decided he was going to make the best of it because it was fucking horrible. And it was the last opportunity for his asshole to only be an exit at that point. Before he went to Reno and got turned out. So, and they're passing out the food while this guy's shitting. It's horrible. And I'm holding it, and it's funky. And this guy goes, you going to finish that? No. I just hand him my tray as I sit there fucking disgusted. I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I don't even know what time it is. I don't have a watch. I don't know anything. I figure it's breakfast time because they brought cream of wheat. So these guys are all in the jail with me. And then finally, after we finish eating, and about an hour goes by, and they're all talking. And I mean, they're talking, what did you do? And then the guy asked me, what did I do? And I said, oh, I got a warrant in Sacramento. Like, I didn't even want to say. You know what I mean? I stole Monday's Samurai. You know what I mean? I took Godzuki's car and threw the purse away. I mean, what the fuck? So, sure enough, I fucking, they finally get them out of there after like an hour. And I'm waiting to go to Sacramento. I'm supposed to go at like 9 a.m., I guess. And they come in and they go, Mike Schmidt? I said, yeah. And they go, you've been bailed out. What? Yeah, you made bail. Come on. And I wanted to hit my knees, like, and pray. I was like, I couldn't believe I wasn't going to Sacramento. It was the best news I'd ever had in my life. It was like, remember how I said I felt in Candy's room after I fucked her? And I was like, let's fuck everybody? Better than that. It was better than losing my virginity, this feeling, to know I wasn't going to fucking Sacramento. And I walk out, and they process me out, and they do whatever they got to, and I go in the lobby, and there's Ransom and Craig. They bailed me out with our rent money.
Oh.
They used, and all of it too, because it was like $865 to get me out of jail, and they paid it to get me out. And I was like profusely, I'm like, guys, I will pay you back, and they're like, because they were dealers, they made tips, and they lived in this weird netherworld. If you were living in a casino, some days you have $1,000 and some days you have $4, and your friends are always flush, so they can float you, and you always have money to get them back. So they were like, dude, we got it, we'll cover you, because Craig was a croupier and Ransom dealt poker, so they always had access to cash. But we still lived check to fucking check and paid our bills like piecemeal because we were out fucking getting drunk all the time. And I didn't drink, but they did, whatever. So they bail me out, and I'm like, this is amazing. It was like $870. I'm like, oh my God, I will pay you guys back. Don't worry about it. You can get us when you can get us. And we walk out, and we go to get in the car, and I go, hey, where's Deej? And they just start laughing. And I go, what? What the fuck? And they go, he got up this morning and went to the beach with Godzuki. And I went, he went to the fucking beach? They go, yeah. We asked if he wanted to chip in, and he didn't. So, just so you know, we all know he's a piece of shit, but now you really know what kind of a piece of shit he is. And even then, I was trying to be devil's advocate, and I go, well, we did steal his girlfriend's car. And immediately they were like, well, all the fucking shit that he's pulled on us forever. And I go, I know, you're right, but I guess I kind of understand that he couldn't bail me out if he's going to I'm still making excuses for this fucking guy. Why? He went to the fucking beach with Godzuki and left me to rot in fucking jail. Lose the fucking gash and come in and bail me out, motherfucker. Cut your bim loose and come get your friend. Went to the fucking beach. So we go home, and then I just fucking crash out. I'm like, because I still feel filthy, and then I just lay in a pile of clothes and go to sleep. And that night I wake up, I'm going to go to work. I still don't see Deej because I guess he was over at Godzuki's house and getting showered and all that. So I go to work, and I'm working, I'm bouncing, and then Deej gets in there late, and he's going to run the booth. And I go, hey, and he's like, hey, I didn't even want to talk to him. So night ends, and he's like, let's go to the goalpost. So we all go over to the goalpost, Ransom, Craig, all of us, and we meet, and Godzuki's over there. And I'm like, I don't even want to see this chick. And she just starts laughing. Ha, 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 starts laughing at us. So fucking it's me, Craig, and Ransom. And we all sit together at a table, and we get food, and we're hanging out. And when DJ slid into the booth, Godzuki sat on his lap. So there's, 5 of us in the booth, but Godzuki's on fucking DJ's lap. Food comes. And she's just laughing. She's just like, what were you guys thinking? And we don't say anything. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to go off on her and it's going to be ugly and hideous. I don't even want her at the goddamn table. And Rick and Robert show up, so now they pull up chairs. We're all at this big table. Godzuki's on his lap, and we're avoiding her. We're not, she wants to talk about it, but we don't want to talk about it. So she keeps going, how was jail, Mike? How was jail, Mike? I go, it was great. I'm like, I'm dismissing her because I don't want to fucking lose my mind. I don't even want her there, but I got to learn to deal with it. Whatever the fuck, that's fine. We're eating. We go play video poker. We come back over and we sit down. And finally she goes, I have to ask, why? And Ransom goes, why what? She goes, why did you steal my car? Why does that seem like something that you would want to do? Was it just to make me mad, or why? Why would you steal my car? And I said, well, I just saw the keys in your car, and I felt so extraordinary. It was like something had a hold on me. Does that answer your question? Craig and Ransom got it. I think Deej got it too. Godzuki just sat there cross-eyed and confused. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com. It's Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can be our friend Lily Von Stupp's friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her on Twitter at a couple of accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp or Twitter.com/MNTs. And if you want to write her a personal note, and if you want to find out exactly why this show bloomed into a 2-hour show when I said it wasn't going to be, you can go ahead and write her a personal note at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. 10 o'clock p.m. is the show. This past week was a theme show, I believe, right? It was not a theme show, but it's produced, by the way. I should mention that show. Very successful burlesque show produced by a friend of mine named Lily Von Stupp, who is here right now and also produces this show. Hey, Lily. How was last week's show?
Last week's show was awesome.
She got a lot of pub out of the LA Times and things like that from her show, and so the crowd you're turning people away and stuff still.
Still turning people away.
Get your tickets early is my point, folks. Buy your tickets early, or if you want, like another guy did, buy a month of tickets in advance.
Yeah.
Why not do that? Who's coming up this week on the show?
Let's see. Mr. Buddy is hosting. We've got a debut with Ridley Barlow. Glama Sutra's back. Very excited about that.
Glama Sutra, all right.
Love a Glama Sutra in the show.
Is it a theme show?
No, it's not. It's a variety show this week again.
Okay.
It's our standard, burlesque variety.
Oh, you had the opera singer and the drag queen last week. How'd that go?
We did. The opera singer and the drag queen went well.
Well, good. That's important. And they stripped. They got all naked and stuff.
Yes, actually, the opera singer was almost completely naked and painted on while she was
Oh.
singing. It was amazing.
You know what I say to that? La 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 la.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
All right. Well, and then next week is a variety show, and then it'll be Mr. Buddy, and he does balloons.
No, Mr. Buddy is actually a silent vaudevillian. He has a tendency to host the show without speaking. It's pretty awesome.
I've had that request several times. So go, folks, to the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine at 10 o'clock p.m. every Monday night. It's great. Lily produces it, and it's always got amazing hot chicks and variety acts. Want to remind you folks that MikeSchmidtComedy.com is now new. If you go to the back after this page, you'll see spots. If you go to the where else? The gallery page, the Boy with the Horns page, you'll see new spots or new artwork. And if you go to the Joe Business page, you can go ahead and purchase the Year 1, Year 2, Year 3 download sets. That's the Fellowship of the Schmidt, the 2 Schmitties, the Return of the Schmidt, and the Lord of the Schmidt, the complete set. $25 if you want to buy them individually, $60 if you buy the set of 3 with the Lord of the Schmidt set. You can order that right now. And I should tell you this, and there's a link to the Zazzle store. Those are linked to tweakedaudio.com/40, and you can get some nice earbuds that I'm wearing right now. Also, folks, if you want to donate to the show, up in the upper left-hand corner of the MikeSchmidtComedy.com site, there is always a little Schmitty with his pocket out. You can click on that and donate to the show. And I've had a lot of people say to me, they're like, dude, we would love to subscribe to your show. Like, go ahead and sign up. Well, now, guess what? You have that option. Folks, you can make a one-time donation to the show. You can subscribe for $2 a month. You can subscribe for $5 a month. Or you can sign up for a recurring donation of $10 a month. Subscriptions are now available. If you click on the donate box, a little light box will pop up. You can click on the appropriate thing. It takes you to PayPal. You sign up. And then hopefully you forget or die, and I get the money for the rest of your for my days. I shouldn't say hopefully you forget. Maybe you die. I shouldn't lump those in together. That seems retarded. I don't want anybody to die. So please, if you want to subscribe to the show, you can donate to the show, make a one-time donation still. But when you click on the box, you'll have the option of also subscribing for $2 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. Go ahead and do that at the new MikeSchmidtComedy.com with artwork all over the place and having fun. If you want to take over MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you want to be my new web guy, again, remember, send me an email. You got to know Drupal 6, which certainly not as good as Vanity 6. But I will say much better than Apollonia 6. But also not as good as Girl 6, which was a Spike Lee joint. That's a lot of 6s. I have reminders of places I'm going to be and things you should know. Folks, by the way, if you want to go to Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy, people create pages to bring me to their towns. They want to bring me all over the place. There's now like I said, there's a Philadelphia page, a Minneapolis page. There is a Kansas City page. There is an Indianapolis page. There is a Philadelphia page, a Boston page. A Denver page is in the works. A Seattle page just went up. And I will tell you, we're making progress on Seattle. We're making progress on Philadelphia and Minnesota. The thing is, my schedule is so weird, and it's hard for me to be up during the day and contact venues. And a lot of these places, I wish I could just call them and talk to them, but they're like, send us an email to the info box. It's like, oh, fuck. And then it's going to get lost. You don't hear from people for a week. It just drives you crazy. But I'm really trying to push for Minneapolis. I have some people on the ground in Seattle and Philadelphia who've contacted me with venues, and now I have people from Chicago who are contacting me. And I got to tell you, I would love to come back to Chicago. There are a couple of guys who have access, I think, to theaters, and they've sent me notes. So just got to start a page and see what happens, and I'll promote it on the show and also on the Facebook page. So if you want me to come to your town, start a page. If you want me to come to Denver, Philadelphia, those places, join those pages so I know that people will buy tickets. In Austin, Texas, I'm coming to see you on June 3rd. Remember, at the Cold Town Theater. The show, I think, is at 8. Might be at 7. I think it's at 8. I don't know off the top of my head. But tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. Just go ahead and put in Mike Schmidt or the 40-year-old boy, and you'll find it right away. The Success is Not an Option tour is coming to Austin, Texas on June 3rd. You can also find a link on my Facebook page. But if you want, just go to Brown Paper Tickets because there's a lot of links on my Facebook page. And I don't want to make you wade through everything. Again, I want to thank Giovanni and all the people over at the Adam Carolla Show, Katie, for getting me on and letting me do that. That was a lot of fun. I had a great time doing it. Remember that you can download that now. It went up on Monday, so some people have already heard it, but some people might not have known that I'm on there. So go ahead and download Monday's show that features Mike Schmidt. You'll see it right there in the iTunes. Go to the Adam Carolla Show and subscribe. Why not? It's the #1 podcast in the world. Why wouldn't you subscribe to it? You probably already do. Remember that I'm on the Adam Carolla Show. You can download that. I also did Paul Goebel's show, and that's available now, the Paul Goebel Show podcast. You can go ahead and download that and hear me talk about The Voice. So go ahead and get Paul Goebel's show. I was excited to do that. I was asked to do the Top 5 podcast, and I went ahead and did that last week. Go ahead and download that. I think it's available on the 15th, they said, possibly on Sunday. And you may recall from last week, they were asking me to Skype. They were asking me to sign up and do a bunch of different things in Audacity. And I was not happy about that, and I made it known. And then they were very nice. They wrote me, and they smoothed everything over. Everything was great. And then I did the podcast. What they wanted me to do was Skype and do Audacity. What they probably didn't want me to do is what I wound up doing on their podcast. So go listen to it. It was great. I was glad that Mike and Travis and Sue involved me, and it was really nice to be asked, and I thank you. But go listen to that, and then write me and tell me what a dick I am. That'll be fun. Also want to tell you folks, live shows, like I mentioned, Austin, Texas on June 3rd. Well, I will tell you that this coming Friday, and I think tickets are still available, for Risk. Risk is a storytelling podcast. Well, Risk is doing a live show, and they've asked me to be involved. This Friday, the 13th, I believe, right? Friday's the 13th, and it's at the UCB Theater. Yes, it is. UCB Theater at 8 o'clock. Yes, it is. Check. You can shake your head at me, but I know it is. Because Prince was supposed to play on Friday the 13th. Everybody made a big deal out of it. So this Friday the 13th at the UCB Theater on Franklin in Los Angeles. Risk is doing a show at 8 o'clock. Tickets are still available. Come out and check me. And I understand that I think Dylan Brody is going to be telling stories. Chelsea Peretti is telling stories. And it's hosted by Pete Holmes and Kumail Nanjiani, who are both very funny stand-up comedians, and I don't know if they're telling stories, but they'll certainly be hosting, and they'll be there, so come on in and check them out. Should be a lot of fun at the UCB, and you'll be able to meet Lily Von Stupp, who's not part of the show, but she'll be in the audience and is forbidden to laugh. And I've also just been booked now to go and do the Battleship Pretension live show at Meltdown Comics on June 4th. It turns out, which is I'm in Austin June 3rd, and I will fly home, and then June 4th, I will do this show for them at Meltdown Comics. Battleship Pretension is a great podcast with my friends Tyler and David. You can go ahead and download that at iTunes. And then they're doing live shows. They do them periodically, and I don't know if they said this is their last live show. I think they kind of alluded to that for me. But I know that Kyle Kinane is on the show. He's the only other name that I know for sure is doing it. And, dude, go see Kyle Kinane. I just happen to be there. Why wouldn't you want to see Kyle? Kyle's hilarious. He opens for Patton Oswalt all over the country. He's at his own Comedy Central special. Come and see Kyle. Stay for the Schmidt. So that'll be fine. And that's at Meltdown Comics. I'll talk about that more in the coming weeks. And I think I've covered every single tag or plug, I should say. And also, there was some, I was going to talk about something earlier in the show, and I still don't know what it was. I started it and then got away from it, and then we went off on a tangent. I blame Adele, folks. That's who I blame. I returned to the movies this week. I'll tell you that, folks. I returned to the movies. I went and saw Thor over the weekend. And look, it's a hero movie. I have to see it. It's like it's in my DNA. I'm obligated to go. So we went to see Thor, and I saw it in 3D. I don't care about 3D. It really doesn't do anything for me. To me, it's just literally, it was $40 to see this movie. $20 for a ticket for Karen and $20 for me. $19.50, whatever the fuck. We went to the ArcLight, got nice reserved seats. We get to the glasses, we sit down, and we're watching the movie, and Thor starts. And he's Thoring all over the place, and there's all sorts of Thor nonsense. And it's blurry as fuck. Like all the 3D on the periphery, anybody in the foreground is fine, but everything in the background is completely blurry. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. And then I'm starting to think, man, am I just an old man? And because nobody's complaining. I think we've just accepted that movies are going to suck and they're going to look bad and 3D is fucking terrible and that we just got to live with it and we're getting raped and you just sit there and enjoy it. Well, after, 40 minutes, finally I look at Karen and I go, is this all blurry to you? I mean, you see this, right? And she goes, no, it's not blurry to me. And I'm like, man, how is nobody fucking complaining? And I wanted to go out and complain about it, but if nobody else was saying anything, I'm like, maybe this is just the way the movie looks. So then Karen goes, switch with me. So I give her my glasses and she gives me her glasses and hey, there's Thor. And all of his friends. And they're not blurry anymore. And I stare at the movie, and so I realize I sat there for almost a fucking hour with shit 3D glasses and accepted it. That's how low we've sunk. That's how low we've sunk as a society that we just sit there and take it, goddammit. I should have gone up, I should have fucking rang the Norma Ray bell and demanded more 3D glasses, but no, I sat there and watched blurry Thor. And look, I didn't like Thor. I didn't care for it, quite frankly. It moved a little slow, and who cares? But I tell you what, it was even worse blurry. Maybe that's on me. Maybe a non-blurry Thor would have been interesting. He would have been the god of thunder instead of the god of blah, 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 blah. Everything was fucking blurry. Anthony Hopkins, all of them. And all right, I have to ask this question. Look, I like Thor. Thor's great. He seems like a nice guy. He lives in Asgard. He's a Norse god. Everybody up there is Norse, which means Norway, which means blonde. And Heyerdahl, the guy guarding the Rainbow Bridge out of Asgard, is black. What the fuck? And the best thing about it is, for me, the one black guy that they've got, they make him have the job you can never have a break from. He's the one black guy in Asgard, and he has to guard the bridge. They decided, you know what? Let's put the black guy in charge. He's got the only job in town that you can't punch out from. Because they don't want him at the banquets, because then everybody's like, oh, fuck, there's a black guy here. This is Asgard. We're a black Norseman. What the fuck? No way. No way. But I love the fact the one black guy they got in town, he's got the only job. Everybody else gets to walk around and be a god. He has to go and guard the door. You took the one black god and made him a doorman, you fucks. Unbelievable. You had to think, Brad, I had to think about that when he cast him, right? He had to go, wait a minute, we're making the one black guy a servant. That doesn't make any sense. No, it makes complete sense. I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody rigged for the steak? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake Rape, do it, do it, do it, do it.